Okay. Get some music on. Just a second. Oh, well, I have to do it. That would probably help. Okay. I know what I'm doing, I swear. Over it this week, I think. Okay. Music. Music, music, music. Good morning. Hello, hello. Let's get started this morning or this afternoon, guys. Let's start tapping that screen. If you're over there on YouTube, if you could hit that thumbs up for me, I would appreciate it. We can get our day going. Which part, Will? Every single day. Waffle. Today's not your day back, my friend. Straight up, what did you hope to learn about here? If I was someone else, would this all fall apart? Strange, where were you when we started this game? I wish the real world would just stop hassling me. Please don't change. Please don't break. Well, the only thing that seems to work at all is you. Please don't change. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. Happy Friday, guys. It's finally Friday. I'm happy. I need it. I'm done. I'm ready for the weekend. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let's get started. If you are over here on TikTok, let's make sure we are tapping that screen, sharing the live out. You can repost it, you can add it to your story, you can send it to 5 of your friends. And what else? Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. If you are part of the fan club and you do your little daily heart me, I think Nick Shirley, I was going to say Nick Fuentes, Jesus Christ. The Nick Shirley sticker should be in there now. I believe. So you guys should be able to use that one in the chat now. Let me double check with my backup. Yep, he's in there. There he is. Also, guys, make sure we are completing the goals, okay? We have the roses. Oh, nope, you guys completed the roses. Never mind. Monocle, shut up. I'll get something else going for you guys. I appreciate that so very much. If you're over there on YouTube, can you hit that thumbs up button for me? I would really appreciate it. And also, you can become a member. You can obviously subscribe for free, but you can become a member over there on YouTube as well. And you can send super chats in case the chats start going pretty fast and I can't catch it. That's a lot easier way, and it does donate to me. Over there on Twitch, guys, you can follow for free or subscribe. If you pay for Prime, you get 1 free Prime sub a month. And if you want to use it for little old me, you absolutely can. You can send bits and fun things over there, and there are stickers and stuff over there for you to use. But guys, remember, it is more beneficial for me as a content creator, seeing as this is my job, this is what I do for a living, and this is how I pay my bills. I literally paid my Excel bill yesterday with what you guys completed in the entirety of my goal. It is much better if you just donate to me directly. So if you wish to do so, you can do so with the link tree in my bio on all 3 platforms, Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal, to donate. Guys, we can already start with a huge W to Sparky, because Sparky sent me 50 this morning while we were over there on Olive's Live. I wasn't even contributing very much this morning, so W's to Sparky, thank you so much. He did a $50 train. I'm not going to expect that much of you. If you would like to do a $1 train or a $2 train, all we have is 50 left. We can start getting that down on this Friday. That would be fantastic. I would appreciate it. And yeah, I guess we can get started this morning. Let's see. Where do I want to start? Okay, I'm going to start with the DNC autopsy. I don't really have that much to talk about with it, to be honest, because it was bullshit. And I figured it was going to be bullshit. So I played the interview that the DNC chair, Ken Martin, did with Jon Favreau on Pod Save America, and that disaster of what the fuck that was. And I played it for you. And I absolutely denigrated the DNC and the chair in and of itself for what he said. The amount of times that he said we need to learn the lessons without releasing an autopsy. How can anybody within any kind of party learn lessons from an election if you don't have the piece of paper or the report that you need? Well, because of how bad that went, he released it. Now, I'm going to show it to you, but we're not going to read through it because it is, again, bullshit. It is what I think. It is what PodSave thinks, which is that they either did not do one and did this one in a hurry, or what they did was that they had some sort of staff member do one and it just was a mess, a wreck. They did not do a good job, and so they tried to bury it and hide it. And then Ken Martin got mad about a tweet from Ben Rhodes on PodSave, brought it up, and now here we are. They had to release it, and it's trash. So I am going to show it to you. It's 192 pages, okay? There's all sorts of stuff about the fact that they're not even giving you any kind of statistics or anything for this. It's just things they say, and they go through an entire history of the rise of the Tea Party, Obama to now. But the thing is, it doesn't mention Gaza. It doesn't mention the voters' concerns, which was that was happening. Voters had concerns about Biden's age. It doesn't talk about that at all in this. So if you want to read through it, I guess waste your time. But what I'm going to do is, because I showed you this and it's bullshit, I think Ken Martin needs to step down as DNC. We are Amanda's. Was that a raid? What is going on? Welcome if you are We Are Amanda raid. But If you want to waste your time reading through this, I guess you can. I wouldn't advise it. What I would advise you to do instead is to find other ones. I'm going to pull one up that I liked, and we can talk about this one instead. But if you're with me, I absolutely want to see a push to get rid of Ken Martin as the DNC chair, especially as we're coming up to the midterms, and especially after the midterms when people will start announcing for a run in 2028. I think that Ken Martin is not a person of the people. He is not going to be a good representative of the Democratic Party, of what the Democratic Party should be. Excuse me. He is a good representative of what the Democratic Party is now. He is not a good representative of what it should and could be. And so I think Ken Martin needs to step the fuck down. So absolutely, I think that needs to happen. So if you would like a good autopsy, Rob Flaherty from The Bulwark did a good one. So he released this May 14th. So obviously the DNC one was forced and not released until yesterday. He did this one on the 14th when we all realized that they're just going to keep hiding this and not talk about it. So, you may have heard about the Democratic National Committee autopsy, the post-election report commissioned by the DNC in 2025 to examine what went wrong in the 2024 campaign. And you may have heard that it was never released to the public. Obviously, again, this was written 8 days before they finally released it. Or no, it would have been 7 days, right? Today is the 22nd. Because of that, there's been a lot of rightful concern among Democrats about there not being an honest accounting of what went wrong. And as we can see from the now released one, they were not honest at all. They did not bring up Biden's age as a factor in the election at all. They did not bring up Gaza at all. Completely dishonest in that autopsy. But there are a few people who have insight into what the autopsy report actually says and can share what they know of it. I'm one of them. I was deputy campaign manager of Kamala Harris's 2024 presidential campaign and of Joe Biden's campaign before that. My remit was things that touch the internet: social content, creators, rapid response, paid media, fundraising, digital organizing, and a few other odds and ends along the way. I was one of the few campaign staff the autopsy team actually spoke to, which is its own problem. And hey, if you appreciate the type of experience and strategic analysis that gets you an invite to speak to the autopsy, I got a podcast for you. And he's probably talking about The Bulwark. He's talking about how he has not seen the autopsy report. It never went out, but how important it is to look backwards. So he goes into it. He breaks it down into 3 parts. I advise you guys read it. We'll go through a little bit of it. What happened, how it happens, what happens next. So what happened? You have to have a brand. We didn't. My biggest lesson from the 2024 election is that tactics don't add up to a brand, and a brand is the most important thing in politics today. Excuse me. Without a brand that people generally feel is connected to your candidate's deeply held beliefs, your tactics will add up to nothing. You'll reach people, but you won't close the deal. So again, we've talked about this on the left, we have talked about this, is that it is not enough, and it shouldn't be, but it's not enough to just be anti-Trump. Because although that should be enough for you to not vote for people who glaze Trump's taint, it is not enough in way of what are you going to do? What the fuck are you gonna do once you're in? Okay, great. You defeated big bad Trump. You defeated Trump's taint lickers. What are you gonna do now? And the Democratic Party does not have that message. Was she registered in the Democratic Party, Muse? We're gonna go over that in a minute, actually. So just hold your horses. People often think of a campaign's brand as visual, the logo, for instance, but really it's the story of why the candidate got into the race. The why is critical, and we couldn't clearly articulate it. I would even admonish him. It's not that we couldn't articulate or that the Democratic Party could not articulate the why. The why was because Joe Biden had a fucking ego, and he lied to the people when he said he would be a transition president, a bridge president, and decided to run again. He fucked them over, so there was no why. The why was that the delegates and the funding by legal right had to go to Kamala Harris, or they had to have an open primary. Again, nobody within the Democratic Party chose to open a primary for Kamala Harris. And I'm not saying the DNC. I'm saying the candidates, right? Like Buttigieg, Newsom, Shapiro. They could have come out and said, I'm challenging. And they didn't. right? We have to remember that. But unfortunately, what that did, because of the lack of time, because of Joe Biden's fucking ego, it meant that there was no why about Kamala Harris. There's not a good way to sell the why. She had whys. She had reasons why she was running. Because she could have said, no, I would rather you have an open primary and not do it. But with the time that was left, she did still have a why. But unfortunately, the right got to paint what the why was, and the why was because Biden was old, which again, the DNC autopsy does not address, and that's a fucking problem. Our research showed that we were reaching the voters we needed to reach, and that they even liked our specific outreach. Our ads tested well, and we started to win on underlying issues, but something bigger wasn't gelling. It wasn't just us. Incumbents around the world were getting absolutely croaked. Labour's honeymoon in the UK lasted about 12 seconds. Now, again, we've seen that. We saw it all over the globe in 2024. And around that time frame was because of inflation and because of the economy. And Joe Biden and his administration was coming out and telling people, like, oh, well, the stock market's doing great. Does that sound familiar? Because Donald Trump is doing it now. The stock market's doing great. It's doing wonderful. People weren't feeling that in their pockets. You can't just tell the American people they're fine when they're not fine, sitting at the kitchen table trying to figure out what is going on and how they're going to pay their bills. And we saw that all over the globe, is that what people do who don't have critical thinking skills is they will blame the people in power at the time and not actually look into the policy that effectuated it or the fucking pandemic that effectuated it. And they will blame the people in charge. And so we shifted to the right all over the globe because of that. Not because their policies were better, but because they thought maybe something different would make it better. It hasn't, but here we are. Again, we underestimated then, and we are underestimating now just how disillusioned people are. There was and is a pervasive sense that nothing works, and the institutions holding us up have failed. Media, government, business, no one trusts anyone anymore, for reasons both of the Democrats' own making and from simply being incumbents. The Democrat brand sucks. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Their messaging is not good. Matthew Chu, I am a registered independent. I tend to vote Democratic just because their policies are more harm reductionist or more progressive for the most part. But I have no problem fucking chewing their ass out. No fucking problem with that. So again, we're talking about there was not a good story. We like that. Here's going into, we all knew Biden's age was his worst negative. At 81, he was the oldest sitting president, but his age was more than just a number. It mattered tactically. It was harder for him to communicate clearly, which eroded trust in his leadership. Now, I will say, communicate clearly, I would say the debate was probably one of his worst, right? But he has absolutely had a stutter his entire life. But most of the time when I watched Joe Biden speak, I understood what the fuck he was talking about. He just stumbled over his words because he had a fucking stutter. Communicate clearly, though, the debate was bad. And everybody has to acknowledge that. He was sick, but the debate was bad. Again, Muse, if you could prove to me that Amy Bach was a registered Democrat, that's great. I'm not a Democrat, and I don't like her, and I'm glad she is serving her time, and we're going to talk about her. If you could just hold your little horsies, we will talk about her in a minute. It was not a cognitive issue, Terminal. It was not a cognitive issue. Because cognitively, he was still sharp. That's not true. He was sick. The debate was bad. Absolutely agree. He was sick and the debate was bad. Even at the beginning, focus groups showed clearly that the problem wasn't that Biden was perceived to be senile. It was that he was perceived to be too old to understand what voters were going through. You see how that's different? So the focus groups are saying it's not cognitive. It's not senility. The issue is relatability. If you are too old to understand voter issues, like even Donald Trump, I said, Donald Trump is making the same mistake as Joe Biden did. Coming on and telling people that they're fine, their wallets are fine, everything's fine, and lying about prices and lying about what's going on at the kitchen table does not work for any party. It did not work for Biden, as it shouldn't have. The perceptions around his age took away Biden's reputational superpower, empathy. The thing that kept him in the Senate for 36 years, got him on the ticket in 2008, and made him president in 2020. So again, I advise people to read through this. It's going to go into paid and organic brands. He does a thorough fucking breakdown. The Joe Rogan issue, I know she didn't have a lot of time. I read the book. I get it. However, I think she should have gone. Amy Bach is registered unaffiliated. Thank you, Ari. Registered unaffiliated. So Muse, you can take that up with somebody else. I think she still should have figured out a way to do it. Personally. The transgender, I won't call it an issue, but the fact that the right was running with that, the HQ accounts, those were successful online. But again, then you go into part 2, how it happened. I just would advise everybody to read it. And I'm going to post it in my Discord, as I always do. But I would advise you to read this one. And I will post the DNC autopsy as well. However, don't fucking waste your time reading 192 pages of them saying nothing. Ken Martin needs to fucking step down. How the hell did Rob Flaherty do a better job than you did and you're in charge of the DNC? Fucking get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. Moving on, we're going to do a quick segment on the economy. And then we'll get to Amy Buck, the unaffiliated voter. Okay. W's to Emily. Thank you so much, Emily, for the $5 for appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it so much, guys. It is Friday, so we're excited about that. I'm excited for the weekend. That leaves 4 or 5 left in my goal. If we would like to do a $1 train or a $2 train, or like Emily just did some sort of $5 train, we can absolutely get this accomplished and get our Friday starting off strong, okay? We have a lot to get through. I never get through my whole outline. I've shown you guys it, and I can just keep going. If you are a Trump supporter and you would like to have a conversation based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings, I have no problem doing that as well. You can come up if you're on TikTok, or you can call the number 509-795-0412, and you can have a conversation with me. Again, factually based evidence, not your feelings. I will ask you to source the things that you say. I hope you understand the difference between primary, secondary, and tertiary sources. That would be great. Okay, let's go to the economy real quick. I only have a couple things on it anyway. But before we get to that, W's to Ari. W's to Ari for the $7 for the week-long mute for Terminal Gantt. Ari, if you would like to execute that one, you absolutely can. There it is, W. That gets added to my little Google Sheet where I keep track of it, and I'm so sorry, but I don't count the weekends because I don't go live, so I don't think that's fair for somebody's money to go there. So, you'll be muted for longer than Friday to Friday. I'm sorry. He's always in there talking shit on some shit. Especially, how can you get mad at me for literally criticizing the Democratic Party? I just spent a better half. Oh my God. Thank you, Olive. That's so cute. I just spent the better half of 20 minutes talking shit on the Democrats because I have no problem fucking doing that. No fucking problem doing that. Okay, by the way, what Ari just did is a capitalism where we allow you to mute anybody in the chat who you don't want to read their messages anymore. And we have different pricing ranges for you. I'll show you right now.
Do you want someone muted in the chat? Is there someone who's spamming, making disingenuous arguments, displaying bot behavior, or maybe they're just a dumb bitch? Well, you can keep them muted and contribute to their degradation kink. But remember, while we don't kink shame, it is perfectly acceptable to kink ask why. You can keep them muted for as little as $2 a day, $7 a week, or $25 a month. Pay links in the bio.
All right.
I like I come up and we're already muting people.
Already. Getting the day started strong. Okay, so consumer sentiment hits fresh record low in May as Iran fuels inflation worries. I'm going to let, I never remember his name, but I'm going to let him explain it. I probably have to watch a stupid ad first. Yep, hold on. Let me mute it. And then I'll let him explain it.
While there's an ad going on, Trump supporters over on the tube, right? I know you hear my voice. I know you don't like my voice. If you guys pay $40, you will not hear from me for the rest of the day. Unless you guys...
Whoa. Thank you.
Not the big cat Venmo.
I
think Blue wanted me muted. Damn, Blue!
Is it? I doubt it. Oh.
Is it?
No, it's not you.
Oh.
W's to Blue for the $7 to get rid of the gish galloping Muse. Well, Muse, see you later. You also get put on there for a week, so there is that. I appreciate it so much. W's to blue, guys, for that. I also had, what is this?
I thought blue was hitting me.
Ryan, thank you so much for the $12. For those who come after, love you, Monica. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna do, hold on. I can do that. I can do that math because I still need a calculator. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Yeah, Loki. Well, I thought blue was trying to mute me for the day, but you know what? It's fine, blue. I get it.
That's crazy. I think Mew was coming after you. Okay. That leaves 19 in the goal. Let me update this one. Guys, if you have extra coins you want to dump on the gift gallery, I would appreciate it. I know we're getting to the high cost one, so I can totally understand if you don't. Totally understand. All right. Let's get to consumer sentiment hitting a low. This is bad. And we're going to talk about that because Kevin Hassett's going to try to flip it. Donald Trump is already talking about the fucking stock market. That's not helping people. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
38, Massachusetts, and Trump.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
Well, I just wanted to say something before we get into anything. I call into a lot of the live streams, a lot of these people that do what you're doing, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you lean? You said you're independent, but you typically vote more towards the left. But do you align more with like center left or socialism?
Yeah, I'm a leftist. I would say I wouldn't call myself a democratic socialist though, because I don't think capitalism in and of itself is a good thing. I think that the best case scenario, yes, is to try and regulate it as best as possible so it's not as exploitative. And that is not to say that other economic systems are not also exploitative. But I align a little bit farther left than that, usually.
So you don't, all right, so you don't see yourself as a democratic socialist.
Right.
All right, so economically or socially?
Economically.
Okay, so socially you lean more towards a socialistic type of mentality. All right. So that's interesting because a lot of the DSAs that I talk to, typically they're like full-blown DSA on both sides, economically and socially. And it's funny because a lot of those people typically, like, obviously most people hate crony capitalism, right?
Right.
I think it's bullshit, and I think that it is exploitative, but I feel like a lot of the people that claim that they're DSA, they kind of use capitalistic means to, kind of survive. I mean,
well, yeah,
kind of
I think that's the only thing I'll say to that is we hear a lot of that when people call me a commie or something like that, which I wouldn't self-identify necessarily as, but when people use those labels and they're like, but then you're asking for money. It's like, well, yeah, because I live in capitalism. It's not like you don't get to choose to be a communist in a capitalist system, or else you I guess you can choose it, but then you die. I guess what I mean is that I wouldn't class myself as democratically socialist because although I think it's still better to regulate the capitalism so we don't get things like crony capitalism, even if capitalism is running with regulation at its quote-unquote best, it's still exploitative to the point that you don't own your labor and billionaires and millionaires get to decide how much your labor is worth.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that argument because obviously, we all want to make more money. Like I work and I'm a machinist and I program CNC machines and stuff. So, obviously they tend to bring in, like, corporations like to bring in cheap labor to replace higher wage labor to try to do the same jobs, to fill the same role.
Sure.
And me as a worker, when they bring those people in, you're not necessarily thinking about the corporation's best interest. You're thinking about your own best interest. So when that person comes in and they take your job or they replace something you're doing or whatever the case is, you tend to blame that person, right?
Sure.
And I think
which is what they want you to do. The corporations want you to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at it like, because I appreciate your take on the Democrats and how essentially both sides are the same fucking coin. Okay,
It
like,
depends on who we're talking about. It depends on the topic we're talking about. I think that the Democratic policies are better. The Democratic policies tend to be more harm reductionist. They tend to be more people. I think they've like people centered. They've lost that messaging. I don't know where they lost it, but they absolutely fucking lost it, and they need to get back to that.
well, I feel like the older school Democrats
Mhm.
tend to be more corporatist.
Sure, absolutely, I would agree.
So, yeah, so like I mean Biden, Clinton,
Sure.
all these like higher, well-known Democrats seem
Mhm.
to be more the more corporatist. So like when people talk about the whole like social progressivism, that's nothing to do with those people.
Yeah.
Like I
No,
don't
that's
think
fair. I
Biden
think
was
that's the
progressive at
that's
all.
no. I would say he was a moderate. The only thing that I would agree with the Bulwark is like he was left in his empathy. I think he had a lot of empathy for humans, but in way of the policies and things he supported and the way he quote unquote played the game, to me he was a moderate. I would say the same thing about Obama.
Yeah, I mean, Obama, I don't know. There's so much shit that you hear and read about from like different people about his background, his dad's background and all, and like, I don't know. I don't even want to get into Obama because I don't really know the
Sure,
truth
I just
about any
meant
of
I just
that.
meant by like I think that the right tends to like boogeyman him as some leftist commie when in way of his actual policy when he was in office and how he worked with Congress, he was more of a moderate.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he even had some like Republican ideals when it came to like intelligence and like kind of
Sure.
in somewhat getting, what the fuck's the name of the Patriot Act when
Yeah.
he like kept
No,
pushing
yeah.
stuff like
Nobody
that.
spoke against that, right? No.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
Uh-huh. I
And
agree.
and and I think what we're talking about now is stuff that me as a Trump supporter, I can agree with a lot of what you say
Mhm.
because ultimately like we're all dealing with the bullshit at the same time.
Right.
Now ideologically, like socially, there's stuff that you may agree with that I totally don't, but it doesn't necessarily mean we can't have a conversation about it.
Sure.
Like if we can find middle ground on stuff that makes sense for everybody, like both of us, for everybody, for people that like have my type of ideologically view, and your view. I mean, I think things will be more cohesive going forward. But I feel like the problem is there are a lot of people who aren't rational about life, right? They tend
Well,
to
the
get really
only
emotionally attached to things.
Sure, but the problem is when you say things like socially, the quote unquote issues that we talk about socially have a lot to do with human rights and a lot of the times not a lot to deal with you. And so that becomes an issue where people have not read enough about it, but they have a lot of big feelings about it. Whereas it could just be if we have these freedoms per the Constitution we're supposed to have, let people alone as long as they are not hurting other groups. And again, then you get into is it hurting other groups or not? Most of the time when I talk to people, it's fueled by fear that was fear mongered by a group of people and it's not real. It's not real most of the time when we're talking about social issues.
Yeah, I mean, well, so for instance, the deportation stuff, right?
Sure.
So obviously, it's a talking point. It has been a talking point for both sides, and it
Yeah.
has been an emotional issue that's been pushed on the American people from both sides
Sure.
for various reasons, right? At the end of the day, most people in this country just want people to follow the law, right?
I agree, but
So
most people don't understand what that law is. I hear a lot of the times when people say follow the law, I ask them what the law is, they don't know, and that's okay. But then they'll be like they jumped the line, but they don't understand that when it comes to immigration, there are multiple lines. They're not just one because
sure,
there's all
yeah.
different types of visas and programs and situations. And so again, it is a lot of the times it's big feelings and overconfidence in subject knowledge that they've never read about or looked up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have different ways to apply for some type of like residency in the country, whether it's
Sure.
visas or well, work visa is not really applying for residency, but
No,
like
but
work
like yeah,
visa.
but the Trump administration has taken, like, you have knowledge of that. I have knowledge of that. But the Trump administration has made it a binary issue instead of a nuanced issue, where most of the time people come up and yell at me and are like, "You just want open borders and you want criminal illegals." And I'm like, "I have no problem with deportations. I have no problem with deporting people who have committed crimes in this country. Actually, I think it's kind of silly that we have to pay for, like, murderers who did time or did something here, that we have to pay for them to do their sentence here before we get rid of them." Like, but we do. That's the law. That I'm just
Yeah.
following the law. So I get a lot of people who are like, open borders. I'm like, I never said that. All I'm saying is
So,
you guys have to understand asylum and refugee status and TPS and, like, where these people are coming from in these countries and our footprint on those countries. And so I just get yelled at most of the time.
yeah, and what you just said there, unfortunately, a lot of creators and people that, like I said, do what you do, they tend to use the extreme side of it, and they cherry pick like what you said. 90% of Trump supporters probably agree with. All right,
Sure,
it's
but
just
unfortunately,
it's
we never
worded.
get there because when they
I
call,
know.
all they want to say is the Venezuelans in New York got SNAP, and that's not true. Or the illegal Venezuelans, they're not illegal because they were asylum seekers, so they have TPS status. But even then, with TPS, you don't get SNAP. So, like, most of the time, I spend my time just getting to basic level of factual information instead of actually talking about what we could do to make it better and why are the legislative branch not doing that.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously a problem. I mean it's politics at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're gonna pick and choose what side they want to go with, and then hopefully that side during election time is something that people are leaning towards.
Sure, but
Like obviously the
I want them to learn. That's the whole point. Is I'm trying to teach them critical thinking to understand that the only reason they're being told very specific things in the ads that they see and what they see is because of money. Whoever has the most
Mhm.
money with whatever agenda talks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean money makes the world go around, but for better or for worse, I guess.
Right, but we could change that. Like, we could get that changed. If we had people promoting getting rid of Citizens United, we could actually get that accomplished where corporations can donate, but they can't donate such an amount that they lobby into our legislative process.
Well, lobbying even during when Trump was like lobbying was a huge thing in the Trump supporter community where
Sure.
people were just fucking sick and tired of the lobbying, but yet now they're okay with it now.
Because it's their guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
Like I don't get me wrong, like I'm an independent as well, but I do lean to the right.
Sure.
So I'm more center than I am biased to either side. I'm not a traditional conservative because I don't like the traditional conservative values from the past, like the neocon bullshit. I don't like any of that.
Well, can I ask you,
So
because when people say they're center, I have a hard time believing it because most of the time, if you bring up an issue, they lean one way or the other. Is there a Democratic policy, like something that the Democrats run on, that you support?
something that the Democrats run on that I support. It's hard to even, I don't know, because I don't even know any true Democrat policies.
But then how can you say that you're center? Center in what issue?
Center as in, like, most of the time I don't really care either way. The stuff that I lean more conservative, like the traditional conservative way that I lean is more like from a monetary standpoint. Traditional meaning before all this fucking debt and all this spending
Sure.
that we're doing now. That's how I look at life. Like I budget, I like to save money, that kind of stuff. Obviously
Right.
now
I
things
mean,
have changed,
I
but
wouldn't call that center. I would say that you just have issues you choose not to care about, and then you have conservative ideology when it comes to other issues. And again, I think you're bringing up, like, the idea of fiscal conservatism, but we have not seen that in a long time from the Republican Party.
sure, which I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I will say, like, there are social issues that I've been privy to. Like I've had to deal with some of these social issues that people have talked about in the in politics the last couple of years. But again, like it's not so prevalent in society that it's the end of the world, but it gets pushed because people get emotionally attached to
Right.
it.
No, I agree. That's exactly what happens. We saw that in this last election. Instead of just letting people live and deal with their own lives, and actually focusing on the bigger issues. And I absolutely can agree with that. But what is conservative policy getting you?
I mean, today,
Well, maybe not today, because I mean, as you said, you don't really. You're a Trump supporter, but you don't necessarily relate to what he's done to the party. It sounds like.
I don't look at Trump as a Republican.
No,
I
that's
look at
fair.
Trump as a moderate.
Oh, I don't think. To
I'm
be honest, I wouldn't give a label at all to Trump. I don't even think he's a. I guess you could say moderate in the way of like Trump will do whatever party is going to give him the most money.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he will push some type of like quote unquote socialistic type of policies, like giving money to people to get, for votes or whatever the case is. He
Right.
tends to lean
Having the
whatever way the wind's
government buy
blowing.
stock in companies is seen as socialism, right? As in like
Sure.
nationalizing certain aspects. Hold on, chat. What we mean is I understand that you guys see him doing these extreme things we disagree with. I agree with you. I don't know that he necessarily believes that, besides the racism, that absolutely he believes that. But Donald Trump, if the Democrats gave him money to make money, they would have been on his side. We saw that with Jeff Bezos, with Mark Zuckerberg, with Elon Musk. They used to be quote unquote Democrats, right? Because they were like,
Hmm.
the Democrats are great. And then the Democrats were like, hey, you make a shit ton of money. You should probably pay some of that in taxes. They were like, what? And then they moved. Like, that's what I mean, is Donald Trump is not, he's not loyal to a party. He's loyal to himself.
That's
Yeah.
that's true, because like that's what frustrates me about politics is people loved Elon for how long, and then all of a sudden Elon moves to the quote unquote right, which
Mm-hmm.
he's not. He's a moderate, okay? And then people all of a sudden,
No, I think
well, I'm
Elon
saying like,
absolutely. I mean, I guess if you compare him to like Alex Karp or Curtis Yarvin, he's a moderate, but like,
well, I mean like as far as he still has like those viewpoints from the left where there is some stuff that is kind of extreme, I guess, when it comes to
social issues
um
probably. Well,
social issues. Yeah, yeah.
and fiscally, he likes whatever is going to benefit him fiscally. But I guess if you mean for like his EV company, but even that, I think that's capitalistically driven. I think that's right-leaning driven for him to make money, not necessarily caring about the environment. He was just trying to get a handle on the market before any other company did.
Well, I also think that the fact that he can push the EV as a social, like a quote unquote democratic type of policy,
Right.
save the planet type of thing, it kind of hit on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, but like I said, I think he did that to make money, not because he actually gives a fuck.
Well, I mean, everybody that makes money is going to make money somehow, some way, regardless who it offends and who it hurts. They're going to just do. It is what it is. That's how
But it
That's how
doesn't
it is. That's
have
how the
to be
system
though.
is
That's the
created.
point. That's the point. That's the reason I have an issue with conservative policy. Conserving. What are you conserving that's good for the country? Because the country has to move forward. If you don't progress, you die. So what are we conserving? We're just sitting here and saying it is what it is and it should never change. Just leaves people frustrated and angry versus pushing towards progressive policies that's going to be beneficial for the people.
I think that the Overton windows move to the left. So I think
No, it's
that
moved to the right.
no, I don't believe that. The reason why I say that is because most traditional, like the old school conservatives, believe firmly in like no abortion, firmly,
Sure, but that was
firmly in
only
like
after
Christian.
Reagan. But that was only after
Well,
Reagan. They didn't believe that beforehand. And again, I have not seen any kind of study of the Overton window that says it's moved left.
the reason why I say that is because even from me, from some of the people that I know that supported Trump, that voted for Trump, whatever, back in the day, like I said, people were pretty firm in their social ideology. You were like literally anti-abortion or pro-abortion.
Well, not
Basically, that's
pro-abortion,
how.
but you
Well,
you you were
you know what I'm
pro-access, but sure,
saying.
yeah.
Okay, so but now people, especially in the MAGA, quote unquote MAGA movement, they tend to be whether you agree or not, more or less along the lines of what Trump said, where he was like, under certain circumstances, it's fine,
Well, Trump's
but
been
it
all
leaves
over
it
though.
more up
Trump,
to the
but
state.
then Trump campaigned saying that the left is killing babies post birth, which is not happening. So the issue is that abortion in and of itself is a 70-30 issue, if not an 80-20 issue. So again, it's this idea that that's not because the Overton window has moved left. That is because one single issue has moved in way of having access. People understand a lot more instead of just focusing on a lot of the times from a basis of religion, which again, I don't care. Like anybody can have their
Mhm.
religion. Just don't get an abortion yourself. Have sex with women who don't want to have abortion. That's great. Do those things. Have a happy life. I have no problem with that. I'm a mother of 2 children. However, it has moved in way of being supported 80-20. And what they knew is if they run on this in that way, they're going to lose. So they had to progress. That is progression for them. They can't sit here in this old Reagan evangelical era of going against abortion, against abortion, against abortion. They will lose.
Exactly, but
But that's
that's
not
why
the
I'm
Overton
saying,
window moving. That's just one singular issue.
yeah, I mean, I point to that because it is such a hot button issue.
Sure.
So is like the voter ID stuff. That's another thing too.
Mhm.
That's like kind of pushing people in different directions. And there's truth to it that a lot of people, sure, they're fine with voter ID.
Sure.
I think, the problem with the government is that they're pushing it. They should just say, you know what, voter ID, we're going to pass the law, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get rid of all the bloat and all the bullshit. It's literally, you get a free ID.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a free
Yes.
ID to vote.
Yes.
There you go.
That's fine.
Everybody's happy.
Exactly. And I've said that.
And
I have no problem with that. If you have where you just need to show your birth certificate or your social and that's it, but it's free, or whatever documents you need to provide, passport, whatever, are also free to get for you to get that ID, I have no problem with that at all.
yeah, that's something that they need to start doing better messaging on, because a lot of
But
people
that's not
do
what they
agree with
want.
that
They
on both
want to
sides.
make it harder. They're making it so you have to go in person to register. When a lot of people, even in rural areas, which actually affects Republicans more than it does Democrats, it's going to be harder if your rural county clerk's office is an hour away or an hour and a half away to actually in person register. If your birth certificate has to match your ID or your marriage license, like your regular driver's license is not allowed to work under the Save America Act. And so again, if they want to have a special ID for voting, I have no problem with that. Make it free and make the documents you need to be able to register to do it free. Otherwise, it's a poll
Yeah,
tax
see,
and it's unconstitutional.
this is the kind of stuff that we can agree on, and that will probably, quote unquote, progress things going forward. But
Sure.
the problem is, media creates a dilemma that it's either one side or the other. You either agree or disagree. And if you agree with
they're
one
just
side, you're this.
reporting on what the people in charge are saying. And the Republicans in charge of the legislation right now are lying and saying that there are hundreds of thousands of dead people voting, hundreds of thousands of illegals voting, when even their own people under the Heritage Foundation have studied this and found that that's not the case. We're not saying that that fraudulent voting is not happening. We're saying it's not happening in an amount to change the outcome in an election. But if you still want to do this, fine. However, the way that they're doing it is restrictive, is going to restrict people being able to vote, U.S. citizens being able to vote. So it's not just that the media is doing anything. The media is reporting on what Mike Johnson is saying and James Comer is saying. That's the problem.
Yeah, but they got to do a better job messaging to get people on board, because it is frustrating.
They're just
And I
trying
feel like,
they're trying to help Trump, and Trump says these things. So if you disagree with Trump, he primaries you.
I'm not a staunch Trump supporter.
No, I know.
Like,
I'm saying they
there is
are,
shit
not
that,
you. I'm saying the people in the legislation right now, right? The people in the legislature have decided to sit on their hands to let Donald Trump do whatever he wants to do.
yeah, well, they kind of have to, because,
No.
he's,
They don't.
well, I'm saying politically they have to.
Because he's primarying them with money, but they could just be brave instead of being little cowardly bitches afraid to lose their seat and actually do the right thing.
Yeah, but you could say that about both sides, though.
Sure.
Both sides
Sure.
do the same thing.
And I would admonish both sides for that. Do the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that eventually Sorry.
No, you're okay.
I had the friggin' video playing while I'm on the phone. It sounded like two people were talking.
Oh,
That was
yeah, because
great.
the little delay.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, for like my whole my whole purpose of the call was that I think like you seem pretty rational and you seem like somebody that I could even sit down and have a conversation, like an actual conversation with, even though we may not ideologically align on all topics,
Sure.
but we have to get to the point, I always talk about like unity under, dire circumstances at this point because yes, we're in a lot of shit when it comes to, all this gas being super expensive,
Right.
things being so super expensive. We have to do something that makes sense for everybody. And ultimately, having these types of conversations, I think, are going to be super important going forward. Because whether we agree or disagree on something, there is so much that we have in common that we don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's the kind of stuff
We have to
that,
stop trying to own each other. We have to stop trying to hurt each other and just get to a place where it's
yeah,
like, okay, I want your family to do well, and I would like it if you would like my family to do well, even if my family looks different from your family. That's behind my closed doors. That's not your business. It shouldn't matter. I think that those are things. But also for us, at least on the left, I'm sure on the right, but for on the left, keeping boundaries about certain things in regards to human rights. But other than that,
yeah,
yes, just making sure that, like, I want all Americans to do well. I don't want anybody to suffer. This sucks.
yeah, it actually really does suck.
Yeah.
I paid $60 to fill a 4-cylinder car the other day, and I'm like, wow, this is ridiculous.
I was telling
This
yesterday, my
shouldn't
husband
happen.
does not have medical insurance, and so he just paid $616 out of pocket to cauterize an ulcer. So that's fun.
Oh my God. That is the one big thing that we need to figure out a way to fix is the medical industry.
I agree.
There has to be I'm sure both sides totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
matter what
mean,
side of the political spectrum you're on. You paying fucking $600 to get an ulcer cauterized is fucking ridiculous.
yeah, and what a lot of people don't know necessarily on the right is that the ACA, although it was like a changed version, was Romney Care. It was something that Mitt Romney had already proposed in his state and done. So it was actually pretty moderate in and of itself, and that's still not even as far as I would go. I think this country could absolutely do universal health care. There's no reason for us not to be able to do it, and it would be cheaper in the long run. There's no reason other than keeping insurance companies rich.
You don't think that the ACA eventually started raising costs for procedures over time because it
Because of
encouraged
insurance
insurance
companies.
agencies?
Because of insurance
Well,
companies.
yeah, but it was tied into the insurance companies.
Right. Well, it's a marketplace for you to be able to buy. And then they knew that they were going to get government subsidies because of that. So the insurance companies and the hospitals raised their prices. I don't blame Obama or his cabinet for coming up with a better idea for people to get healthcare. Like millions of people got healthcare because of the ACA. All we do then is we take it and we say, this isn't perfect, but we don't get rid of it completely. We take what is wrong and we fix it.
Yeah, but can you agree too, though, that it did cause a lot of undue harm when it came
Sure.
to like tax time that people couldn't afford the $600,
The cost for
excess.
not having insurance?
Well, stuff like that,
Sure.
and not having insurance, they kind of penalize people for that. I don't think that was
I
fair,
actually personally did not have an issue with Donald Trump in his first term repealing that part of it in Congress.
Yeah.
But again, that's totally fine. If you want to critique aspects of it, that's fine. The issue is that most of the people, come in and they're like, they say it was terrible simply because they don't like Obama for whatever reason. But instead of looking at that and going, yeah, that was a start, but it got really stripped bare bones of what it could have been, should have been, and now we need to work on better. Instead, what we see is most of the time the Republican Party right now, since they're the majority, being like, this was terrible, it was awful, we'll show you a plan in 2 weeks, it's been 10 years. And that's where I have an issue. They're not doing anything about it, they're just saying like, Obama bad. And it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is the people that liberals, whatever, that they can't, like, what you're saying. I totally agree with, as far as like we should be able to pick apart the things that didn't work.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times people on the left, they can't see that side of it. They only see like, this is what it should have been, but it's not what it became. what
No,
it
but I
became was what they didn't initially want it to
sure.
be. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but I guess maybe the people I talk to, the people in my circle, we literally have conversations all the time, ripping Democrats apart and ripping things apart to make sure that it's like, it's not about saying that Democrats are this, golden Camelot of good. Like, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to say this was still better than not having anything.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, even from on the Republican side, there are people that they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Essentially, they just rip apart Republicans that don't do what they want, or what they think they should do. Um, Again, I think this should be something that more people do. Like, have conversations, talk about shit like this. Don't get emotional. Don't
Depends
get
on what we're
mad.
talking
Don't
about.
get angry.
But it depends on what
Well,
we're talking about.
the stuff that we're talking about now is like stuff we deal with day to day.
Sure. But
This is all
again,
stuff that's like,
I have been known to crash out. I probably will crash out again. When people bring up blaming the poor people for being poor, or people bring up the LGBTQ community, which I'm a part of, or people bring up marginalized communities, I tend to crash out because a lot of the times it's based off of their own feelings. And again, not anything that they've read. So we can't have conversations on stuff because it's stuff that doesn't affect them at the kitchen table. So I don't know why they care.
yeah, I think it's just a emotional attachment to something that, I mean, doesn't really affect them day to day. It's something that they just get attached to because it's part of the political
They get
argument for
told
their
to
side,
care. It doesn't
unfortunately.
affect them. Yeah, they get told to care. There was $250 million spent on the Republican side in Trump's campaign to talk about transgender people.
Yeah, but it worked.
It worked, but it's not
That's
real. It worked, but it's not real. That's a problem. I don't think they should be able to
yeah.
do that. It wasn't a real issue. Kamala Harris did not talk about it until she was asked by one ACLU survey, and all that was about healthcare within the prison system. So they get fear mongered about shit that's never going to affect them. And even if it does affect them, that's something they're going to have to deconstruct themselves at a family level and not take control of what other people are doing with their lives.
Yeah, I will say, like, locally there was a case where during the campaign there was a boy who, whatever, I don't even know the terminology, to be totally honest, but was playing on the girls team, and this kid was like huge, honestly,
In
and
in
they were playing.
elementary school, middle school,
No,
high
no, in
school?
high school.
Okay. Why should I care
And
about high school? It's high school.
well, I'm just saying that this
Sure.
is the kind of stuff that they pick on, you know. So, like,
Sure.
whatever happened, they had a field hockey game, and then the kid ended up hitting a ball into a girl's face and like broke her mouth, broke her jaw, and
Could that happen from a fellow female teammate though?
it could have,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, but obviously because of the circumstances at that time, it was such like a big problem, and they
Well,
used
they
that as
make it
a
a big
talking
problem, right?
point.
Because they're like, well, males are so much stronger and it's going to hit them harder in the face. When, like, I've seen girls get rocked in volleyball. Like, just from, female to female, get absolutely fucking rocked with that ball to the face. Like, so it's
Yeah.
just, they took things and fear mongered them instead of just being like, sports injury. Like,
Yeah, but you have to at least admit that there is truth to that, where
what?
men and women are biologically different.
Males and females are
Yeah,
typically biologically different. Yes, which is why I would advocate with a doctor gender affirming care so that that person can then go through, maybe if prescribed for them. It's not every single person. Some people just like to socially transition and change their hair, change their clothes, change their name. But for those who do, go through with their doctor and it's prescribed, have hormone therapy at an early age, it takes away all of that.
how early age do you think, though?
It's going to depend on a case by case basis with the doctor. Most of the time, if you're doing hormone blockers, you're going to be waiting for Oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a specific time in puberty, Megan. I can't remember the name now for the life of me because I haven't talked about this in forever.
Oh, like were you extending? Hang on.
When Megan, they're not going to be able to hear you. When it's puberty, when your puberty hits Tanner stage 2.
Prepubescent?
Thank you. No, it's Tanner stage 2. When you hit about Tanner stage 2, you might, if your doctor chooses, recommend for you to have hormone blockers. All that does is going to pause your puberty that you're going through while you continue through your therapeutic journey, in your journey with your doctor, who then may, if needed, prescribe you hormone replacement therapy. So again, Tanner stage 2, and that's usually going to be around like 12, 13, 14, depending on the person.
Do you think that's okay as far as like the parents having the ultimate say at that point?
They do have, the parents still do have the ultimate say. The only thing I would say is the issue is what harm you have to your child if you don't. Like if you have, because again, this process is not one doctor, it's multiple doctors. And so if you have multiple doctors who came together and said that your child in particular would benefit from this kind of therapy, this kind of medication, and you as a parent are like, no, absolutely not, I don't believe in it, it's not real, like you're probably harming your child. And I would say that if you got advised to have, a cancer treatment and you were like, absolutely not, I don't believe in it, only holistic medicine, like you're harming your child. That's a problem.
Are there studies that show that there's harm or there's no harm either way, depending on what type of medicine that they're given over a course of time, or is this new?
No, this has been actually this has been studied for a lot longer than that, but a lot of the research we have is going to be from like 70s, 80s onward, but it was researched, I don't know, a lot of people don't know, is one of the best researchers at the time for gender affirming care and transgender studies was actually in Germany in the 1930s, and Hitler and his Nazis burned it to the ground. So we had to completely start over. But there are absolutely studies that show that, again, thank you, Megan, that gender affirming care drops the suicide rate by 70%. So again, of course you're going to have regret. You have higher regret with things like knee surgery and back surgery than you do with gender affirming care. But again, it's all case by case basis. This is not an entirety of children that are going to be getting prescribed these things. And actually, cisgender children also get prescribed things like puberty blockers. If you have a female child who is going through puberty, at like 9, 10 getting their period, you're going to get prescribed most likely puberty blockers. So putting restrictions on it just for trans children does affect cisgendered children.
Yeah. See, I'm not too keen on what the whole argument there. It's just obviously you hear the talking points and you hear like, oh, they give them medicine at 13, 14, and like it totally stops their ability to go through puberty, and then
just
as they
pauses
get
it.
old, what's that?
It just pauses it, and if you
Well,
don't
then they say it can't be reversed.
but it can.
sometimes,
If you
where it
stop taking, like, let's say your doctor says, no, you're not eligible for HRT, for hormone replacement therapy, they'll just take you, technically it slows it down. Thank you, Megan. It doesn't necessarily block it. I don't like the term block. It does slow it down. But you come off of it, it'll come back. Like your puberty starts going through again. But you're still going through puberty. It does just slow it down.
I think, well, again, I think if there was better messaging to explain these things thoroughly, I mean, we hear
Sure.
too many like
I mean, it
1
shouldn't
minute
be
talking
talked about.
points.
Right, I
and-
agree. It shouldn't be talked about in that way at all. That's what I'm saying. $250 million to fearmonger about something that nobody's read about.
Yeah. Again, it's like it's politics. It's how this shit. Unfortunately, it's how shit works in this country, and that's how they get people to vote. They get people engaged and like riled up and like, oh, we're not going to put up with this crap anymore.
People
and-
just need to understand it. I talked about it the other day. Like, I literally equated it to prescribing medication for transgender people, let alone children. People really think it's like you walk into a Walgreens and you get this medicine over the counter, and it's not. I was just talking about my daughter is finally getting approved by her dentist to go through for braces. She has had 5 different observations at about a price of $300 each each session just to get her teeth looked at and say, nope, not ready yet. And now that she's been approved, I have to wait for my insurance company to now approve the braces before we can even do the brace. Like, it takes so long. We've been going through this now for like 2 years just to get her to the point of getting braces. Like, so the idea that a child could just be like, hey, I'm trans and I want this medicine, and like it just gets over the counter, it's just silly. Like, it's just silly things that people say. It's not happening at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta get ready for work, so I figured I'd call in and kind of maybe just have a nice conversation.
No,
I've
I
been having
appreciate
bad
that.
conversations with people, with other creators, and it's like, man, we're getting too crazy right now. We gotta take it easy.
No, I agree with that. And I
Seriously, we're
appreciate you coming up
hitting.
and having those conversations. And we can keep having those conversations. You are welcome to call anytime that I'm live.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I work at night, so you're in the afternoon, and I think it's like the perfect timing, so it ends up working out all right. But
No, that works.
all right. Either way, have a great day,
You as
and
well.
everybody else that's listening, have a great day. Hopefully, we had a good conversation in your eyes, I guess.
I think so. Thank you for being civil. I appreciate it. It's better than the yelling. I hope you have a great weekend.
Yeah. All right. You too. Thanks.
Bye. All right. I know you guys. Okay. I'm going to talk about something. I see you guys in the chat. He voted for Trump. I get that. He still supports some of the policies. I get that. He needs to take accountability. I think that's the problem. I'm not saying they shouldn't take accountability. I'm saying we're not going to move forward if we keep doing the dunking. It's not going to fucking work. It's not going to work. We're not going to get anywhere. They will keep voting to hurt you. If you just want to call them shitbags when they're willing to talk. We have shitbags. I have shitbags I talk to every single day. And that you guys cheer in the comments because we're yelling at them. Those people I'm not getting anywhere with. So, I don't know what you guys want. Do you guys want to move forward, or do you just want to sit in 2024 forever?
Think of it. Accountability takes over time. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So accountability is not something that could be instant and happen overnight on one single conversation we have on this internet, right?
RTP was a Republican. Nemo used to be in the red pill hole. Do you guys remember this?
Hector voted for Trump.
Do you think that didn't take time?
I agree with you full-heartedly about having these good conversations. And you know what? I think personally, as someone who does this for a full-time, boo, Hector's crazy, a full-time, occupation, I think the better conversations and the conversations I look forward to the most is the civil conversations.
Yeah. Now, we're barely scratching the surface. But it's a start. And I'll take that. And I will use up the time to do that. I want to say, we did complete my goal. So, W's from Delco Tarot. Thank you so much for the 19 to completely complete the goal. Thank you. I appreciate you, Delco Tarot. And then we also had Juicy Juice. Thank you, W's Juicy Juice, for the $5. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for getting me to my goal. I appreciate it. I know those conversations are hard to listen to, though. I'm not gonna say they're not. I'm not gonna say they're not. They're talking about friends in my community, people that I fucking care about. Megan, who I haven't seen in forever, and Megan, I love you, and I hope you're taking care of yourself, is my Canadian spouse, okay? Like, I understand that. And that was one of the only times you get into an actual issue, right? Again, he keeps talking about social issues. We're getting into that, but you have to scratch the surface. You have, and you don't have to. Let me take that back. We don't have to. I would never say that if you are in the space where you can't to do so, don't. If you cannot do it, and what you want to do is to rail at the motherfuckers who have voted for what we're dealing with and how hard it is for people, do that. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying on my platform, I take a different stance. If you can't be here and you need to take a step away and scroll out, please do so. I would never say you have to stay here. I just run my platform the way I choose to run my platform. And some days I crash out, and we've seen it, and I have shenaned and I will shenan again.
I mean, again, a lot of it depends on the mood. A lot of it it depends on the person you're talking to and how things have come across. Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, I'm not going to do the normal thing. Is that
all I know?
Well, no. Progression takes time. Progression doesn't happen overnight. Progression will not happen overnight. And I truly hope that other people can see that. I mean, I know I got a little when you said that Trump would be considered a moderate, but you have to sit and listen and think about it. Also, did not mean for that burst of echo. I was trying to change.
What I mean, yeah. What I mean is that I think we get too caught up on the fucking labels sometimes of trying to.
I can agree.
Of understanding what Trump is. Like, Trump is a narcissistic motherfucker. Like, what he wants is to make money for him. That's all he wants to do. W's, I think that was the person we were talking about. Thank you, Matt, for the $5 super chat. Great conversation between you and I. Have a great weekend all. Thank you so much, Matt. I appreciate you being here and listening and willing to have conversation. Matt. There was another super chat, and I think
someone said the opposite of the opposite of progress is Congress, and you thought you were funny, Rick.
The opposite of progress is Congress? Well, like, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about, but that's why they do things like, as much as you guys hate it, is the omnibus bill. That is why you knew his voice, Ari. The omnibus bills, things like that. But we also can't do individual bills for everything, or else we really would stand to a standstill, and it's already really bad. Like, Congress just left. Because the Senate voted for the War Powers Act to, like, restrict Donald Trump being able to keep bombing Iran, and it was going to go to the House, and it looked like they were going to have the votes for it, and so the House was like, we're leaving! Get out of here!
Pack up your bags, we're turning this fucking car around.
Like, so there is that. I can't bring it up because I'm past it now, and I apologize, but kind of not.
Oh my God.
HMW's for the $2 super chat to say illegal supporters should have to house and support. Mm-hmm. That's what's happening.
Hold on. The only place I'm seeing reporting this is Fox. Let me send this to you. This is the tables have turned.
Please stop.
I'm trying to find some other. I know. I'm looking. I'm looking right now.
It's fucking Fox News.
I'm sorry.
It's Fox News. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not the ones breaking it, because they do have a lot of. Remember, they've really restricted what the.
We sometimes have to take it from them.
Well, because they get first access a lot of the times now, because they're like Reuters, CBS, right? So
right. No. I agree with you 100%.
She wrote a letter. Where?
Can I share?
Did she put it on X?
Let me look. But can I share with the class?
Wait, hold on. I don't want to do it till hold on.
We're just like,
Jess did it. Midas Touch is reporting it now. Jet. Midas Touch is reporting it now.
Are they? Okay,
yeah.
So Tulsi Gabbard resigns from Trump's cabinet. Jess, that was all playing games. We just wanted to break the news together.
Oh no, Jess, you're totally fine. We're
just teasing. Jesus fucking Christ.
I thought it'd be Patel first, to be honest with you, but
I did too. Isn't Tulsi Gabbard actually doing her job?
She posted it on Friendster is crazy, Dan.
Quick, someone check.
She didn't post anything. Where the fuck is they getting this
on
from?
MySpace. I was trying to make a joke, but I couldn't remember the application.
She got removed from Trump's top 8. It's fine. That's how we know. Trump removed her from his top 8.
I need the given reason. I don't see it yet,
Fox
Megan.
News Digital exclusively obtained her formal resignation letter, in which Gabbard says she is, quote, deeply grateful the trust you placed in me. Why is that hyperlinked? For the opportunity to lead the Office of the Director of National Intelligence for the last year and a half. Unfortunately, I must submit my resignation effective June 30th, 2026, she wrote. My husband, Abraham, has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. Okay, so she's...
Yeah, NPR was saying the cancer, too.
Okay.
That's heartbreaking. I mean, that's shitty. That's really shitty. I swear to fucking God, Whiskey. Sorry. Just yelling at my cat.
Okay, so it's for health reasons for her family. That makes sense.
I hope her husband's okay. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they caught it. Like, even
Early
if it's
enough.
rare, hopefully they caught it early so they can start the fight.
She has cancer. You're worried about the man, Olive? Canceled.
It's her husband. Her husband.
husband.
Her husband has cancer,
Fuck you.
not her. Men don't read.
No, they don't. Or listen.
Now we can make fun of Tulsi Gabbard. You just can't make fun of her husband.
I'm gonna make fun. I mean, even like with the resigning, as it is, just kind of like out of the ordinary. You know, it's still interesting. We thought Trump fired her.
Right, like I thought she did the like Pam Bondi resigning thing. Go to the public
take my 50
sector.
and go to dinner and leave the cuck at home.
I am. I'm probably gonna get.
Sparky,
get
can I
food
go to
tonight.
dinner with her?
I'm probably
Since you
gonna get
took
food.
Manny?
It's Friday. I want to get food tonight. I think
Look,
that's what I'm gonna do.
Here, Sparky, me and Monty will go on a double date with you and Manny to Nobu. We'll just do the 50 for the tip.
What are you talking about, Dr. Stardust? Fake news. This is Fox. Are you okay? What do you mean? Look, let's Google it because I'm sure it's gonna start showing up.
Yeah.
Reuters, Wall Street Journal, the Indian Express, Yahoo, which is always doing it from somewhere. She's leaving. Like she's leaving because her husband has cancer. We were just reporting it because it was breaking news. It was coming out. So we were figuring out what was going on. Jeez, chill out.
So he didn't talk about Tulsi Gabbard, but Donald Trump just posted and said, "While I very much want to be with my son Don Jr. and the newest member of the Trump family, his soon-to-be wife, Benita, is that Bettina? Bettina, circumstances pertaining to government and my love for the United States of America do not allow me to do so."
You go golfing every weekend. You can't go to your son's fucking wedding, you psychopath.
I feel like it is important for me to remain in Washington, D.C. at the White House during this important period of time. Congratulations to Don and Bettina, President Donald J. Trump.
You go golfing every weekend.
Wasn't he also not there for Barron's graduation?
Probably not. Oh, she probably didn't want him there. She's like, please don't fucking come. She said, please don't come.
Please don't come.
My suitcase. My outline, by the way, in Discord today is going to be this big. I just want everybody to know we got through nothing today.
Sorry.
Why are you apologizing?
It's a habit therapy.
Oh,
and I took my meds late. By the way, guys, even though both goals have been touched, you guys can continue to touch the goals. Links are in both bios. You guys can still always, if someone sends $50, I will come back up. But make sure you guys are giving money all the love and support. Why is a man back?
The man.
You be quiet.
You're going to get dropped again.
Ooh.
You're going to get dropped again. What do you think you were going to get out of that?
I'm going to make Jesus get on you. And not in the fun way.
What did you think you were gonna get out of that?
Okay. Here's my olive branch. Don't piss me off.
The thought of him slowly crossing out the son father dance at his wedding on the DJ playlist. What's one more weekend without a hug from dad?
Do you think it's like a slow dance version of the YMCA they were gonna do together on the date before? YMCA.
He just needs love.
You didn't see Eric because this is Don Jr. You didn't see Eric the other day? He was like talking to Caitlin Collins, I think. And she's like, do you think he's proud of me? She's like, yeah, I think he's proud of me because I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. Are you okay?
Oh, who the fuck?
Therapy.
All of his kids are broken.
They're fucking broken.
Daddy wasn't there. Exactly. That's sad.
Oh my God. No, if Eric got married, he wouldn't know. He'd be like, Eric got married? Huh. I think I've heard of that guy before.
What bullshit does he have planned this weekend that he's got to stay there?
Golf. He's not going to stay. Or he's mad. He's pissed. He is going to stay and he's going to be pissed off the entire time that he is stuck there. Because he's like, well, I told them I wasn't going.
Not Black Jesus saying my dad wasn't there and I turned out okay.
My
Bruh.
Hi, Blue.
We know that he hates all his kids except for Ivanka because they have something in common.
He doesn't even like her. He likes her husband. That's really like... He's talking today. Those are going to be fun clips next week. I was with President Xi, and I said to him, we have the greatest military in the world. He actually didn't agree. We had a great meeting. He actually didn't agree with me on that. No, I'm shocked that Xi did not agree with me.
Color me surprised.
Wow. Those aren't Jared's kids. Are crazy. Anyway, all right. I am going to get through this economy portion. I'm going to do it. Consumer sentiment hits fresh.
All right, let me go back on mute.
Record.
Sorry.
Stop apologizing.
Okay.
Stop it. Or I'll come over and spank you. Anyway.
Don't be sorry, be better.
I'm sorry.
You knew that was
Oh,
Kevin.
Ruben.
Oh, see, he's so dedicated to the presidency, he doesn't have time for family receptions. Ruben!
He hates his kids, Ruben.
Bye, sandwich!
Ruben, he goes golfing every weekend. What are you talking about?
Guys, I played the generic sound. Anybody you would like to mute, you can pay to mute, but Ruben specifically.
Are you tired of seeing Ruben, aka Sandwich, in the chat? Are you tired of seeing his completely idiotic takes? Or maybe you want to contribute to his degradation kink. But remember, we don't kink shame, but it's totally fair to kink ask why. Or maybe you just want him to shut the fuck up. Well, you can keep him muted for as little as $2 a day, $7 a week, or $25 a month. From now until whenever we fucking feel like.
All right. Can I retroactively apply my dono? Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't used for like a kick or anything. So like, if you want to, Delco, I'll write it down so I remember to calculate the math. I literally have a Google sheet for them. It's great. So $19.
He's about to be into like 9/11 now.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Ruben. Sorry, sandwich. Okay, by the way, it is a Ruben sandwich. That is his picture for that sound. Consumer sentiment. We'll let the man talk.
Hi, Mike, and indeed, not really good news here. These are University of Michigan Sentiment May final reads. They're adjusting the mid-month reads, and all of them are lower than expected and lower than our last look. Headline number moves from 48.2 to 44.8. That is another new all-time low going back to the 70s. And if we look at what's current conditions, same scenario, 45.8. New all-time low back to the 70s. If we look at expectations, from 48.5 mid-month to 44.1, you guessed it, new all-time low going back to the 70s. On the inflation, also not good news because it's going up. The one-year inflation from 4.5 to 4.8, that would be the warmest going back to, wow, let me think here. That's going back a ways. 4.8. You're going back to the 80s there, and 3.9 on the 5 to 10 year from 3.4. Here's the issue. Many believe, including myself, that there is definitely something going on here with regard to what's going on in the Mideast. It's not helping confidence, that's for sure. Normally, equity prices correlate very well with confidence, and equity prices continue to flirt with history to the upside. The other issue is, of course, that politics is seeping into some of these surveys. Real quickly here, we're basically unchanged on the day and week and 2 year. 10-year yields are down slightly on the day and the week. And make sure you check for early closes. Cash market for the bond market, 2 o'clock Eastern. The pits at 1 o'clock Eastern. Precious metals early closes. Grains completely closed. So make sure you check scheduling at your preferred exchange. Carl and the gang, have a nice Memorial Day holiday, and back to you.
Not them laughing at him. This poor guy is fighting for his life. You leave that man alone. But so yeah, the index of consumer sentiment fell. So we talked about it. It was the University of Michigan. I had brought up the video last week at some point where the University of Michigan was bringing out a preliminary report saying it was going to be 48.2. And even then, they were like, that's bad. Like, that's really, really bad. That's a low rating. And now it's below, it's like down to 44.8. That's really, really, really bad. Yes, the market is up. That doesn't mean anything for the people. As the sentiment is low. That's just because Donald Trump keeps saying the war is going to end, the war is going to end, the war is going to end. That's bad. Look at this. From the time that let's do February, from the time he took office, that's not good. That's terrible. What are we getting out of this guy again? But again, and we're now getting estimates of inflation reading all the way up to 4.8. For year over year coming up. I don't understand it. I really, really don't understand it. And then Kevin Hassett, because he's my fucking favorite. Kevin Hassett was on CNBC today. Yeah, so they're talking to him because Kevin Warsh is going to get sworn in as like future Fed chair. But again, Jerome Powell's not going anywhere. He said he's going to stay on the board. And they're talking to him about how Hassett's like, core inflation's barely moved. And they're like, okay, the prices are going up. You guys said that you were going to fix the prices. The prices are going up. So what are we doing here?
Let's talk about what's happening with interest rates independent of central banks at this point. I mean, if you're looking at the 30-year, the yield touched 5.2% this week. It's the highest since 2007. But it's not just here in the United States. If you look at UK gilts, the highest levels we've seen since 98, and the 30-year bond in Japan is at its highest level on record. There's something going on around the globe that might make it very difficult to cut rates.
Right. Well, there's an oil shock for sure. And when there's an oil shock, then there's a risk that it feeds through to core inflation and then expectations. And that's something that central banks around the world have to pay close attention to. But remember that the history of this thing is the reason why we always talk about core when we see the CPI release and not top line is that the best forecast of top line inflation in the future is core today.
So we're just going to focus on CPI instead of PPI. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to ignore an entire subsection of economics.
And the core has barely, it moved just a little bit.
But
Like the rounding, PP more.
Producer
right?
prices
more,
moved
yeah,
up more than anticipated too, and that's
PP
a
more.
precursor of what may be to come.
PP
And by the way,
more.
we were at inflation that was above target before you even had the Iran war.
Yeah.
Again, inflation was starting to go up already. Even October, November were the months we didn't have. But no, November, December, we were hitting like 2.7 already. And then it started to go back down. And now this, and we're at 3.8 now.
But it was headed in the right direction by quite a bit. And so I think that the difference between the core we've seen in the CPI and target is a little bit high. And I think that it's right for markets to be anxious. Well, if this thing continues for a long time, then the oil shock is persistent, and then it will continue to cascade in the prices.
By the way, that's not good, by the way. Treasury yield, that's not good.
But if President Trump's view is that we're very close to finding a resolution, and if that's true, one thing I'm seeing on the flip side is that the spot market for oil, people are actually kind of unwilling to buy oil at the spot market because it takes 2 months to get it to Australia, and by then the price might be down a lot. And so there are a lot of competing forces. But
It's just, I can't with him. I mean, that was the guy who said that credit card spending is through the roof and that's a good thing, even though we know that that's a recession indicator. But he said it's a good thing when credit card spending is through the roof for everyday Americans. Well, I doubt that Muse stuck around because Blue muted him and for fucking right reasons. But we're here now, Muse. I'm so sorry. We got there. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Thank you. Somebody had mentioned. I know who. Our Minnesota friend mentioned it. Mastermind of Minnesota child meal fraud gets nearly 42 years in feeding our future case. Oh, look at that. Look at that low IQ Somali woman. Oh, sorry. I mean, white woman. I apologize. Jeez, damn. A judge has ordered the Minnesota mastermind in the nation's largest pandemic fraud case to serve 41 and a half years in prison, the harshest sentence to date in connection with the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. Why it matters, prosecutors say former Feeding Our Future executive director Amy Bach was at the center of a scheme to steal more than $240 million from a federally funded child meals program during the pandemic. The case sparked intense scrutiny of the Walz administration's oversight of state-run programs and fueled broader concerns about fraud under his watch. Bach, who was also ordered to pay $243 million back to the federal government, told Judge Nancy Brassel, "I don't have the words to express just how horrible I feel. I know I'm responsible." Brassel said Bach perjured herself during the trial and told her, "This is a vortex of fraud and you were at the epicenter." Bach, whose organization onboarded and sponsored a constellation of fake meal sites, was convicted in March of 2025 of wire fraud, bribery, and conspiracy. She was investigated from the Biden administration because she did this in 2020. So I'm pretty sure that the FBI and the DOJ in 2020 already had caught wind of it, but the investigation took time. That did happen under the Biden administration as well. This is a multi-administration effort. Bach, who is 45, is one of close to 80 people charged in connection with the case so far. Over 60 have been convicted or pleaded guilty so far. The sentence handed down Thursday is lower than the federal prosecutor's request of 50 years behind bars. An attorney for Bach, who maintains that she was unaware of the fraud and is being scapegoated, had asked for about 3 years. That's interesting because she says I'm responsible. So I don't understand how you can both not know, but also, sure. Federal investigators recently conducted a new round of raids as part of ongoing investigations into alleged fraud targeting government-subsidized daycare and autism services centers in Minnesota. I showed you that as well, the headline of when they raided some of the centers. Again, no problem with you guys investigating fraud. Not you, but the DOJ. The issue that I have is Nick motherfucking Shirley, who was late to the party because Amy Bach was already sitting in prison when Nick Shirley showed up. And again, was not about daycare. But Nick Shirley didn't do anything but find stuff late. Congratulations. And he said, what Nick Shirley does is he asks people questions, and when they refuse to answer those questions, he says, must have been fraud. Like, it's really, really, really dumb. But, there we are. I did want to play. This is before, so I want to be clear. Amy Bach, this is how desperate Fox News is. This is the segment they fucking ran on the 18th. So this was before Amy Bach was sentenced. Okay. Fox News is running this from Amy Bach that Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison knew, and that also Ilhan Omar was in on it too. Okay. Just...
Alert also in Minnesota, the convicted ringleader of one of the state's biggest fraud schemes is speaking to Fox News from behind bars. Now, she believes that the scam was no surprise to local Democratic leaders, and she's naming names. She spoke to Alexis McAdams. Hi, Alexis.
Hey, Dana. Yeah, so everywhere you look in the state of Minnesota, right, there seems to be another fraud scam. So this one involves Amy Bach. She's a...
By the way, if you put a magnifying glass on any state, it's going to seem like a lot of fraud because people like to fraud. It's just, people like to do it.
Minnesota woman convicted of fraud for taking taxpayer money that was meant to feed hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this.
Oh, so that's Fox News' big proof. The big proof that Amy Bach was gonna show us, that Tim Walz knew, that Keith Ellison knew, is I have to believe.
Why won't you let me believe the things that I believe?
Where is that sound? I can't find it. I think I have some of them pinned. I don't remember if it's that one. Is that one? It might be.
I just want to believe the things that I say. Why don't you just let me believe the things that I say?
Oh my God.
So I looked into who could possibly take Tulsi Gabbard's position.
Wouldn't they have an acting for temporary?
It wouldn't be the principal deputy director.
Well, what I'm saying is they will be called acting director. Is what I'm saying. Their title will change.
Right, but
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, who's more likely to take that position? You know what I mean?
Yeah, most likely the next in the chain of command under the DNI.
So his name is Aaron Lucas.
Okay.
And he was under Trump's administration the second time. He had roles in intelligence as well. That's about it.
Well, I wrote it down so I can. No, Lynette, she resigned because her husband is dealing with a rare form of cancer. So she resigned from her duties. But no, I was saying it's just the next person to command will, like, it's like Todd Blanche, right? Todd Blanche was a deputy attorney general. He is now acting attorney general after Pam Bondi left. So he'll just get the title of, like, acting DNI for sure. But it's okay, because Amy Bach's going to explain it to us, as she has to believe.
Hungry kids. But listen to this. Bach tells me the real issue here is the state of Minnesota, which she says kept giving scammers your taxpayer money even after they were flagged as fraudsters.
I have to believe that the governor's office and Keith Ellison's office were aware of this. They've said they were involved in helping the FBI. They've said they were made aware. But apparently I'm scary, so they couldn't do anything.
So Bach ran this.
No, they did. They did do something. They investigated you the entire time. That's what they did. Oh, and then you got convicted in March of 2025. Oh, and then you got sentenced.
Nonprofit called Feeding Our Future. You might have heard of it. It was one of dozens convicted in this $250 million scam. You can see her mugshot there. Prosecutors say this group set up sham restaurants. They pretended they were making these meals. They got paid by the state for those meals, but they just pocketed the cash. Bach, who's looking at 30 years behind bars, tells me the state signed off on those businesses, not her.
Duh. Because you set them up to look like they were legitimate. This is the same thing that they did with Donald Trump's fraud case with Mar-a-Lago, by the way. It's not Trump's fault that the bank signed off on it when he was committing the fraud. It's the bank's fault for being stupid enough to fall for it. That's the argument that Amy Bach just made. It is the department's fault for falling for me committing a crime. I'm just going to say, does that mean that I can rob a bank and I can leave it like, it's not my fault their security system's not strong enough for me. It's not my fault. It's their fault.
It's the same argument that conservatives make about immigrants working under the table.
Right.
Like, it's not the company's fault that they hired somebody or that they are paying these people under the table illegally. Like,
shouldn't get defrauded.
The immigrants' fault for taking the money. Like, what?
Yeah, it's your fault for being stupid and getting defrauded, dumb fuck. Like, no, you committed a crime. Like, what the hell are we doing here?
It all went through a process.
Yes.
They were all approved. They were all paid by the state.
Yes, 'cause you lied.
Yet all the fingers are being pointed at me.
What's wrong with her? Yeah, because you committed a crime because the companies weren't fucking real. The restaurants weren't real. You weren't feeding kids with that money.
It's not my fault I didn't pay my bills. It's the company's fault for not asking me to pay.
Right.
Over here,
Or not
name dropping
debiting my
Democrats.
account automatically.
She's trying to get that pardon.
Well, this was before her sentencing. So I think she was trying to, like, throw one last thing out there.
And it's not just Bach. Whistleblowers told a congressional committee Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellis.
Yes, it's not just Bach. Let's believe the criminal. Let's believe the convicted fucking criminal, which, by the way, Kash Patel has posted and been like, thanks to the wonderful work of my team. The investigation wasn't you. You guys, the DOJ convicted her under Donald Trump's second administration, but the investigation was all Joe Biden administration. Because again, the idea is that besides upper management, the people don't really move within the FBI and the DOJ. They've been there for decades, still doing their job.
I think it was Sparky.
You want him to kick you? You do want him? Is that what you want from him?
He's not about it, though. I've been waiting.
God.
Sorry,
He
New
sent me
Year's,
$50 today. You do realize that?
Yeah, and then he
Okay.
said, how much for cuck? So I said, another 50, I'll go away for a week, and he's not about it.
I can't with you. I cannot. You leave him alone. Yeah,
Fair.
Where's
exactly.
your fraud money, Sparky?
Fraud money.
Right there.
Ooh. I was just gonna say, Sparky picked Manny already. I don't know what you're talking about, Cuck.
Look, $50, $10 a kick. He got kicked. All of you kicked him once. I kicked him. Somebody else
I kicked him again.
You kicked him again. Okay, we got like 2 more under our belt.
I was very close to kicking him when he told Olive to be quiet.
No, you got 2 more, Sparky, I think.
In there, ignored warnings for years as millions of dollars and millions were stolen on their watch. Congress is investigating a long list of massive fraud schemes in the state. It's hard to keep up. Prosecutors say it's led to at least 9.
Again, she just said that whistleblowers said that they ignored warnings. I would like to see the reports where people within whatever department was sending warnings to, especially not necessarily Tim Walz. I don't know that he would necessarily be the one to get it as governor, to be honest. To me, that's the same thing as like the DOJ doesn't really talk directly to the president. They shouldn't. It's weird that they do now in this administration. But Attorney General Ellison, I think if there were reports from these departments sent, emails, whatever, sent to Ellison that said, hey, these are red flags, and then they ignored them and weren't investigating them, absolutely we should look into that. But you're just saying it. Where's the proof?
$9 billion in fraud, Dana, and counting. Congress also asking why the Attorney General there would meet with a
user. Where are those records? You said reports of fraud were squashed. There's a lot of records of this. Where? I would love to see them. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being condescending. Where? I would like to see it.
Group of Somali fraudsters, which were under FBI investigation in 2021. The group can be heard.
Oh, they were under investigation in 2021. So, okay, the Biden administration was doing their job. Okay.
In an audio clip given to us by Bach's lawyer offering to donate to his campaign if he can help them get their funding flowing again. Ellison denies any wrongdoing here. He slammed.
Where's the lawyer's proof of that? Bruh, look up the origin. Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the fraud.
Bach in a statement to Fox, calling her a liar and manipulator, adding now she's on a media tour to deflect her guilt onto others instead of finally taking responsibility for this fraud scheme that she ran. So we reached out to Governor Walz too, Dana. He didn't get back to us. House Republicans say it's just getting started. They want to subpoena Walz and Ellison because they say they're responsible for ripping off American taxpayers.
No, Rick, actually, you said no crimes after 5 years of investigation. No, that's not true. Amy Bach and 80 other people have been charged, and a lot of them, I think most of the 80 were, if not 70, have been convicted or pled guilty after 5 years of investigation. It took them an entire year of an investigation for some seashells, so I mean, I wouldn't be talking shit. Just personally, wouldn't be something that I would do. So then they have somebody that is in charge. Remember, Dr. Oz and RFK and all of them, they're going after fraud. This guy by the name of McDonald, they did some sort of like little press conference yesterday. They were in Minneapolis. In Minneapolis. I always want to add an extra. Minneapolis. That's what it is. From now on, it's not Minneapolis. Okay. And a reporter brings up the fact that Donald Trump has granted clemency or pardons to a numerous amount of fraudsters, including people who have defrauded Medicaid. Olive's rubbing off on me. No, I did that one on my own for years without her help. So they're going to ask him, can you answer? Great. You're investigating fraud in the system. Awesome. What about all the fraud that Donald Trump has pardoned in regards to Medicaid?
Yes, sir. Max Senstruck, Minnesota Reformer. President Trump has granted clemency to numerous individuals who have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars in Medicaid funds. Can we expect Amy Bach or any of these folks to be shown the same mercy in the future? I'll take a different question as the final question. Yes, sir.
Bruh.
I mean, at least he was honest.
I would take a different question.
Eli, explain. How am I rubbing off on Monty?
Because I said Minneapolis instead of Minneapolis, but that one's my own fault. I've been doing that one for
I
years.
say Minneapolis correctly. The fuck you want, Ohioan?
Ohioan.
Ohioan.
Ari?
So to quote Minnesotan, that's a damning non-answer.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and we talked about Tulsi.
Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Also, I don't wish cancer on anyone. That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
bye.
Bye. I'm gonna play it again. That's...
Look at his tongue, though.
I know, my freeze frame was just like perfect. I love that.
You know, I tend to do that when I'm like really focused and stuff like that. Now I wonder if I look. Never mind.
Are you guys okay with this, MAGA? Is this an okay answer? Again, we went through this week. This week, I showed you the DOJ's page for clemency, for pardons that Donald Trump has done. I showed you where there were fraud ones. There are fraud ones for Medicaid or the IRS in those pardons. And so they're asking him, the administration has shown grace to so many people with Medicaid fraud, and yet you say you're going after Medicaid fraudsters. Are you going to give them the same grace?
Yes, sir. Max Nestor, Minnesota Reformer. President Trump has granted clemency to numerous individuals who have stolen hundreds of millions of dollars in Medicaid funds. Can we expect Amy Bach or any of these folks to be shown the same mercy in the future?
I'll take a different question as the final question. Yes, sir.
In December, the U.S. Attorney here, Joe Thomas.
Yes, sir.
I'll take a different question as the final question.
It's so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Also, like, can I have that clip? Because I think I want to do something funny. I'm so sorry.
No,
Oh, okay.
Who's Voldemort back there?
I don't know. Who? This person? He does kind of look like the actor who played the alien in Men in Black.
Why is Voldemort there?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Did you know they tried to cut that guy that played the alien in Men in Black?
The really tall one? Really?
Yeah, the water guy. The one that gets like taken over by the bug, right?
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Vincent, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
the
not
director
who I was
didn't like his performance.
Oh, that's not who I was talking about, but okay.
I was like, he doesn't even look like him.
Dude. Okay.
You can.
Not the
Do you remember? Do you remember the alien who was a prince? You remember that guy? He's really bad with movies. He was
I don't think so.
inside his face.
The little guy was inside his face?
Yes.
I remember the little guy.
Okay. He met with his friend who was also an alien, who was a really tall guy. They went to a restaurant where the bug, Vincent, killed him. You don't remember?
We're just going to have to rewatch this.
Jesus, go away. I watch it all the time. I actually watch that movie a lot. I had the Burger King pen that would wipe your memories.
The neuralizer.
The neuralizer. He's hopeless. I can't. Okay.
Does he know what a noisy cricket is?
Probably not. Like I know he's at least seen that one. Most of the movies that I be scripting when I'm talking, he doesn't know. But yeah, I've seen he acted in quite a few things actually, Mad J. I think that from Mulan, I can't.
Can you unmon him for the day?
That's Lucky Cricket. I didn't know at the time, Sparky. I was young. Okay.
I've heard that one before.
Heard that one before. And then we're gonna finish with this. Trump let a truth out. That's how I was gonna say that. Let a truth out. God, tired. Trump truthed. All have read this morning, but I gave up a lot of money in allowing the just announced anti-weaponization fund to go forward. I could have settled my case, including the illegal release of my tax returns and the equally illegal break-in of Mar-a-Lago for an absolute fortune. Instead, I am helping others who were so badly abused by an evil, corrupt, and weaponized Biden administration receive, at long last, justice. So, here's the thing. The IRS case is actually interesting because I would have loved to see that go to trial. One, Donald Trump's biggest enemy is discovery. So that would have been fun because then his tax returns really would have been public because they would have been public record. Yay for us. But also, it wasn't the IRS. It was a contractor through the IRS. So again, that would have been interesting because you're suing the department instead of the guy who's in prison for doing what he did. And then you bring up the quote-unquote illegal break-in of Mar-a-Lago, which it's not illegal because they had a warrant. I would have loved for that one to go to court too. Please take that one to court. Because again, discovery, your worst enemy, would have kicked your ass. So this idea that he would have made a fortune on it is ridiculous. And that's if, somebody said, it's like saying, I'm robbing a bank, but I only took 2 of the 10 gold bars, so you can't even be mad at me. Like, doesn't make any sense at all.
I left y'all so much of the money that I
left you guys.
I stole from you.
Why are you guys so mad? Like, I left you so much. Like, you guys are okay with this? You guys are okay with this? And now, so okay with it, to the point that we are completely rewriting history, which I know you guys love to do. This is Representative Norman, and this is what he has to say. Again, because this anti-weaponization fund already so many Jan 6ers have applied for. So fucking many, including people like Enrique Tarrio, who helped plan it with Joseph Biggs. I was re-upping and re-looking at it yesterday, and he was part of the Proud Boys who did this. And they're applying for compensation for the ones who planned this shit. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Hi, my name's Clint. I'm 64, and I didn't vote.
Why didn't you vote, Clint?
Because I'm not a U.S. citizen.
Oh, what are you, a citizen of what country?
The United States of America.
You're not a citizen of the. You are a citizen of the United States of America.
Yeah, I'm a private citizen.
Oh, you're a SovCit. So you travel, you don't drive.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. You have fun with that. The Constitution doesn't give a fuck. You have fun with that, Clint. Uh-huh. I don't talk to SovCits. There's just no
I'm
point.
over here. I'm like, is he a felon? Is that why he said? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a SovCit. Then you don't get just for advice, Clint. I just want you to know, because the problem with sovereign citizens is you want the protections of the Constitution while also not following it. So you don't get both.
You know,
that's weird.
You know who's funny? Who has conversations with sovereign citizens?
Who?
Kasali.
That's true. She has fun with them.
She has the most fun with them.
She does have fun with them.
Time.
Okay, so Representative Norman, again, because January 6ers, including the people who planned it, Cass, are applying to the anti-weaponization fund. And this is what Representative Norman has to say about January 6th.
To those funds? People who assaulted police?
Look, January 6th is an issue that was made up in the first place.
What? Because I damn sure watched it live on CNN on my phone. It was made up?
People were convicted of assaulting police.
Well, I know made up, sir? That was a staged thing from day one.
What about it?
Staged by who? Because Donald Trump was president. And it wasn't because even Enrique Tarrio, who planned it with his Proud Boy group, planned their portion of it, right? Not the mob, obviously, but they planned their portion of it, said, we did it. It was us.
The riot was staged? When you had police officers letting people in the building.
Oh, Marla, how did Nancy Pelosi plan it? Prove that to me.
When you had people that's not being prosecuted, Ray, forget his name, there's no excuse for that.
Your colleagues, though, your Republican colleagues ran for their life and barricaded themselves in their chamber. Do you think they were acting?
No, there was a riot there, but it was a self-made riot by members who hate Trump. It was made up.
In my opinion. No. Why? Again, it's the silliest argument. Why would Biden or the Democrats make this up when they won? They fucking won. Why would they do this?
Multiple capital injuries! Multiple capital injuries!
But you want to pay them. Cool.
They needed to win harder, Monty.
Yeah, we didn't win hard enough. Didn't,
You know,
I was at J6. Please call. The protesters were allowed in and instigated, except that's not true, and even the people who pled guilty at Jan 6 didn't say that.
What happened to Ashley Babbitt?
And it's not true. What you were talking about is crowd control. Some of the Capitol police officers tried to guide people away. There's a very famous one. The QAnon shaman. The QAnon shaman is seen being escorted by 2 Capitol police officers around and being shown things, right? Did you guys know that when the Capitol police officers actually testified during the Jan 6 hearings, that they said that that was on purpose, and what they did is they moved him away from where he was, which was near the chamber where the Congress men and women were, and actually moved him away from that. That was their goal.
I remember when J6 happened and I was at work. I saw it on the TV. The base went on lockdown.
I've got Ashby.
And it was just
I watched it live on my phone. I remember because I was watching it on CNN. I was eating a bowl of ramen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I was trying to screen record it, but CNN had blocked it, so I wasn't able to fucking screen record it. Because I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I felt crazy.
And then I just remember that night my stepdad had to go onto base because we didn't know what was going on. We had to Yep.
Hi, Ashby.
Hello.
Hi.
I've got a quick story.
Sure.
The J6 stuff. My best friend's uncle was, one of the insurrectionists, I guess.
Mm.
He was the first person that was tried, actually.
Oh.
His kids turned him in, and he actually threatened them after he came back. He threatened them, like, if you tell anybody, like, you're traitors, and what we do to traitors, like, blah blah blah. Crazy.
It's wild. I mean, we went over the 2 cases yesterday where the woman had an ice axe and a battering ram, and then the day afterwards she was on Twitter saying how, like, this is a war, they didn't let us in, we had to break in because it's war. Like, the rewriting of this is wild when they admitted it.
Yeah, it's crazy because they want their cake and they want to eat it too, right? Like, oh, it was the FBI. Okay, well, it was Trump's FBI, so.
And even then it wasn't. They misconstrue that. What they mean is that the FBI admitted that there were FBI informants in the crowd. They were not there on any special orders. They were just informants who were part of hate groups or white supremacist groups that they had previously paid for information. They just were all so crazy and happened to be there to support their group. They were not sent there by the FBI. They just happened to also be there. It's wild.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You.
Sorry, I'm so bad at dropping at the worst times. I always cut people off when I do it. I'm so bad at that. Oh, we're talking about Trump being inappropriate about his daughters. Okay. You guys, but again, you guys are okay with that? You guys are cool with that? Yeah, and there were months of hype and talking about it beforehand. Let me see if I can find actually from yesterday. You guys can watch because Tim Pool, and it was a long time ago. The clip was from a long time ago. Let's see if I can find it. Shoot. Tim Pool crashed out on Luke Beasley about Enrique Tarrio. And again, doing the same thing you guys do, which is freaking out about something when he's never fucking looked it up. And I do not understand that. Let's see. Let's do. Nope, I have YouTube, don't I? Damn you! That's not what I wanted. I'm gonna try and find this. But while we're sitting here, guys, can we see about who we're gonna raid while I look this up? Let's see. I'll look it up a different way. Remember Lindsey Graham's wild pivot? Well, all of them, right? All of the Republicans condemned what happened on J6. They said, this is awful. Donald Trump needs to be impeached. This is terrible. How could this happen? And now, all of a sudden, it's like nothing happened. Everything's fine. Okay, let's see.
So I came into the kitchen to install child locks on my cabinets because Nitro has been opening the cabinets again. He's stronger than the Velcro strips that I put on there. And I came to the kitchen to find my cabinet door is opening. I opened.
God. Well, my kids got a snack yesterday and left the pantry door open. And Jasper got in there and there was like this small loaf of like fresh bread left. That was gone. He was on the floor eating it. I went to pull it away from him. And he's like, I'm like, give it. Like, stop.
Oh, Manny, Whiskey likes soup. He specifically likes chicken noodle soup. So when I get soup for Manny, I have to get like a really small bowl to make sure Whiskey gets a little. Otherwise, Whiskey's just growling at Manny while he eats soup.
All right, I found it. It's got the majority report, so I'm gonna with Sam Cedar, who
clip the growl, Eli,
who I love. Not the crazy, but I'm gonna go fast forward to where the interaction happens because Tim Pool absolutely loses his mind about Enrique Tarrio. Because Tim Pool has the belief that a lot of you have that people were imprisoned without a trial and a bond and a blah blah blah, and then Luke Beasley doesn't even do anything. Like he doesn't do anything. He just has Tim Pool Google it on the spot because Tim Pool actually didn't know anything about what he was talking about. Shocker. But it's a pretty funny interaction.
Moral logic and an understanding of these cases. Hence, my position on January 6th has always been the people who have attacked police must go to prison. But 3 years is a fucking long time for assault on an officer. We have seen people on the far left, notably...
3 years is a long time for assault on an officer. I love the thin blue line. You guys are so pro-cop. Wow.
I mean, 3 years is pretty thin.
Because you're going to get probation. Like, yeah. You're not serving 3 years.
She stole my joke. I was going to say that about the thin blue line. 3 years is pretty thin.
And they were firebombing
Are you
shit all
playing
the time.
that clip today, just so I know?
What?
If I have to leave? The one of me rage baiting you?
Oh, I don't have, I have it in the Discord, but I don't remember where it is.
Okay, I know you said your weekend funny, but
yeah, I
just need to know if I need to leave before.
No, I was going to post it this weekend as like a video, but I can find it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I can find it and get you as well.
Minnesota, 33 people murdered, and how many criminal charges did we get for this? When they firebombed a police station and forced the police to evacuate on May 29th.
Those were Boogaloo Boys, but I will say that if on polling showed that most Americans did say that police station in charge of dispatching citizens to death in the streets had it coming. But
Tim, you're having an emotional breakdown.
Yeah, he's getting really emotional.
2020, when thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and set fire to St. John's Church and injured 100 police officers, how many fucking people went to prison for 3 years? How many of them who never showed up on that day are in prison for 20 years? Enrique Tarrio wasn't even in D.C. on January 6th. And
That's true. For people who don't know, Enrique Tarrio himself, the leader of the Proud Boys, was not actually in D.C. when this happened and still received a long sentence. But we'll go into why, because Tim Pool has to figure it out.
You are saying that man who his only crime was, quote, don't leave. That's his only crime. You think he should be in prison for 20 years because you're a fascist. You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are not to be locked up. And this is the problem I have with the left. They don't know the facts. They don't care about the facts.
Okay, they don't know the facts. They don't care about the facts. Set up, now this all happens. He goes on for another minute or two. But then there's apparently more to this interview that was not, what does Tim call it? Prop clipped?
Prop clipping.
Prop clipped or prompt clipped, or I don't know. Tim has a special word for it. So all of this stuff is up there. And I don't know if Tim actually, retweeted this stuff, because maybe he did. That way people just go away. Because I certainly, saw this peripherally. I didn't.
The correction is always seen a fraction of the time that the original misstatement is.
Right, so what they're saying is what Tim Pool clipped is owning Luke Beasley by yelling. But what they don't show is the rest of it. But
the funny part is the correction happens literally moments later when they actually decide to, should we just fact check this? Here we go.
Be in prison, and you're saying yes to them. Tell me why.
No, I understand that laws on the books have been there for a long time, that I agree with, that if it's proven that you had a plan and you wanted to act on it, and then days after, the proof is
say the proof
by prosecutors.
Say it.
Communications between
what communications? What did he say? What did he do?
Discord.
Is this serious?
Discord. There were Discord messages where they admitted to planning it.
Serious?
Are you going to tell me why you think Enrique Tarrio should be in prison for 20 years, or are you going to say the government decreed it?
I just explained to you.
So the government said so. Is that it?
It's usually law enforcement, which I guess is a part of the government.
Government said so?
Yep.
Law enforcement
that uncovers evidence of communications, a memo that he crafted and sent to his organization,
saying what?
That detailed each institution of government that they were going to try to overthrow. Then just days later, his organization is at the Capitol.
Oh, I can hear typing.
He's looking it up in real time because he doesn't know. He just had an entire fucking hissy fit about Enrique Tarrio. And he's Googling it on the fly because he doesn't fucking know.
Oh. You know what? I'll say this. The idea that Enrique Tarrio crafted a memo outlining or they 3 months featured witness evidence featured Tarrio and co-defense included videos, thousands of messages in encrypted chat groups, as well as a public message on Parler. On or before January 6th, Tarrio convened a Ministry of Self-Defense to coordinate Proud Boys leadership on January 6th. The chat.
Not only did he take credit, it showed where they planned this. They called it 1776 Returns, and the Winter Palace was the capital.
So that Tarrio, stationed in Baltimore, encouraged the Proud Boys as they attacked the Capitol. Let's figure out what that encouragement was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Are they going to actually say in the article? So here's a citation. Proud Boy and 3 other members of the party groups were convicted Thursday in a plot to attack the Capitol. A jury in Washington, D.C. found Tarrio and 3 lieutenants guilty of seditious conspiracy after hearing dozens of witnesses.
Pause it for 1 second. So this is not just a government charge. I mean, there's a whole jury system. The whole jury system is really...
It's Sam Cedar's going to crash out. I apologize for that. I couldn't find the video. It was just them.
Get a little fascist!
And I just want to be clear,
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa. You got to hand it to Tim for clicking through on the footnote to find out if this jury knew what the heck they were talking about. So let's just listen
because
to
anxiety avoidance could have...
Which again, he went to Wikipedia first. But okay. Then he went to a hyperlink on an AP News article. That's great. Don't know why you didn't just go to the justice.gov's website. It would have been there for you. That would have been fine.
It's unbelievable.
Defendant Dominic Pizzola, and citizen charge in a significant milestone of the Justice Department, which is now secured a conspiracy, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Stop. Okay, that's interesting. Wikipedia asserts that they did this, but there's actually nothing in the news article that actually states that is true.
Wait a second, stop it! This is a conspiracy by the jury, by the Wikipedia, by the government, all the government forces.
Witnesses.
No idea, and the witnesses, and all the transcripts and whatnot. Oh my God, he's cracked the case.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is behind all of this. He's clicked through the footnote, and he didn't check anything.
You're right, Danny. Nobody was charged with insurrection. Enrico Tarrio was charged with seditious conspiracy. You're right. Because you don't charge people. Very rarely do people get charged with insurrection. You get charged with seditious conspiracy.
Keep going.
Well, now we got a problem. Let's try this again. Let's try a secondary source. Let's see. There it is. They introduced evidence that Tarrio discussed with associates a plan to have a large crowd in Washington storm government buildings in a scheme they called 1776 returns, in which the Winter Palace was used as an apparent code for the U.S. Capitol. In a message, he said, make no mistake, we did this. Do what must be done. And directed the Proud Boys to do it again. So the question then becomes...
Okay, pause it for a second. Wait. Now, before we get to the new question...
Right. That's the point. I'm going to skip through this Sam Cedar section. But, which one? Like in Tim Pool or Sam Cedar? Both of them kind of do sound like that most of the time. But I like Sam Cedar. Which he just recently, actually, he walked out. Oh, Sam Cedar was doing Jillian Michaels, is that her name? Podcast? The one from Biggest Loser? That bitch? She's a psychopath, in case anybody didn't know. He was on her show. She started asking ChatGPT questions. Sam Cedar got the fuck up and walked the fuck out. Love that for him. W's to Sam Cedar for that. But again.
Yeah, Sam and Emma are great.
Yeah, they're great. Tim Pool just had a huge hissy fit about Enrique Tarrio getting the amount of years that he did not even being there. And then on the fly is trying to Google Enrique Tarrio's case. Finds information that disagrees with him. So now he has a new question, right? So then the question becomes, if somebody says to you, so then the question becomes, that means they just conceded. They were wrong about their previous statements. Now they have a new question to try to muddy the water.
Other footnote. Let's click on the other footnote. He clicked on like 87, not 78, right?
We gotta go to the Wikipedia.
Let's go to.
Let's take a trip over to this Wikipedia.
We're gonna check and see when there's two footnotes, folks. Make sure you click on both, or you're going to get totally humiliated.
He said he was going to go to a secondary source, and then he just went to the Wikipedia instead of also clicking on the sourcing here.
So what he did is he clicked on the Wikipedia, then he clicked on an AP News article, and then he was mad at the AP News article and said, I need a secondary source, and went back to the Wikipedia. That's what Tim Pool did in his interview. It's wild. Oh, don't do that. I don't need Yahoo Mail Planner. Leave me alone. I have enough mail.
The question then becomes, in the bigger picture.
Let's
at all acknowledge that you just blew up over something that I was absolutely citing fairly.
I don't think you cited it fairly.
I think people should be prosecuted for engaging in plans to overthrow a government. That's kind of
that's a very loose definition of plans to overthrow the government.
What?
Excuse me?
What? It's a very loose. They had a name
so
for it.
By Tim's logic, Osama bin Laden was innocent.
Yeah, he had a very loose plan.
He wasn't there at 9/11, so
he wasn't even there.
He didn't do anything.
Like what?
Oh, okay, attorney, guy wearing hat. Okay, sir, with your legal degree.
The Winter Palace metaphor gives it entirely away if you know what that was, which is Lenin and the Bolsheviks saying, actually, we're done with all.
Right. Like the fact that you named the capital the Winter Palace, which references the Bolshevik Revolution against the Tsars in the monarchy. And you want to sit here and say that that's not a plan? It's a loose plan. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We'll get to... It's wild. It's just wild.
This. Bigger picture.
So are you going to at all acknowledge that you just blew up over something that I was absolutely citing fairly?
I don't think you cited it fairly.
I think people should be prosecuted for engaging in plans to overthrow our government. That's kind of
that's a very loose definition of plans to overthrow the government.
Yeah, y'all don't seem to be that informed.
Wait, look, perspective. A lot of protests of rights. A lot of people try to protest and riot and occupy government buildings. Do you think that qualifies as trying to, overthrow your government?
No. What is it?
Okay.
No, which is why they weren't charged and convicted of the same thing as Enrico Tarrio was. Duh. That's why some of them got probation, or some of them got house arrest, or some of them got a ticket. That's why they were different.
Good. So,
but if they had a plan to take control of the government, which was this one.
If this was an actual plan, this was the leastly poorly, most
over the government
ridiculous plan ever. They went.
It's not our fault you're stupid! It doesn't make it not a crime because you couldn't pull it off because you were dumb. That's a crazy argument. Well, it was a terrible plan. So? It was a terrible plan to take a goddamn soda can submersible to go see the Titanic, but some billionaires who are supposed to be smart did it.
I mean, I took a water gun to rob a bank, but I got caught. But it was a stupid plan, so I shouldn't get any time.
That's like, it's not our fault you're dumb and couldn't pull it off.
After people for having Lego sets.
Pause it. I mean, this is fascinating. There's 4 guys there, and Beasley just looks like he's like sitting there like as leisurely as you possibly can. It's honestly like, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this.
They're all nervous as hell.
They're
upset. Control of the government,
They
which
got
was this one.
If this was an actual plan, this was the leastly poorly, most
over the government
ridiculous plan ever. They went after people for having Lego sets of the Capitol.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I mean, the level.
I would like to see proof of that. I would like to see proof of where they went after people who had Lego sets of the Capitol, please. And I'm legitimately asking if somebody has a case number or a name where the government went after people because of Lego sets, like seashells. I would disagree with that. So can you show me that, please?
Of political
Unless they were used as floor plans for the plan, because then that's different, right?
Wait, that's the intent behind it, but 6-year-old Timmy who likes history and is learning about the White House shouldn't be getting like the.
I mean, unless Timmy sat a Lego QAnon shaman in there, then maybe little Timmy needs to have a talk.
Timmy it kind of looks like him because Timmy makes his own action figures. We just don't know.
No, what they threw the Legos on the floor so that the police officers would have to step on them.
Oh.
Are the police officers barefoot?
They made them take them off.
Wait. In order to get to me, you have to take off your shoes and walk the waters of Lego.
Waters of Lego.
Lakin, it was worse. It was a Logitech controller. Actually, like legitimately, it was a Logitech controller.
Third party.
The same Timmy who had trans surgery at school?
Yeah, obviously, Lala. Obviously, Lala. Jeez. Obviously. Jeez. You didn't realize you were still here? I'm almost done. I'm getting off and I'm gonna eat, I swear. I'm fit because this is ridiculous. You guys are ridiculous.
Would you even?
It was because they used Legos as floor plans. That's what I thought, James. Which, duh. You creating 3D models of the floor plans that you're planning to invade.
Admit that there was some level of politics when it came to the prosecution of the J6ers. Would you say politics played a role in this?
Engaging with this as thoughtfully as possible, not trying to grandstand. Of course, often for very justifiable reasons, prosecutors will try to make an example of someone who, for example, tried.
But to me, that's not necessarily political. You're just making an example of don't ever do that stupid shit again. Not like you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat, so I'm coming after you. To me, that's different.
To overthrow the government to prevent the peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah, that's so what?
I will say that I do think that there's been politics in this, and that's why these prosecutions happen so slowly.
True. They could have gone faster.
Because the impetus of
That's true. We'll let his impetus stay with Sam. We'll do that. Was a guy filming a girl saying, "They maced me with onion in her rag at J6. Do I get reparation dollars?" Yes. Yes. Yes, you do.
Technically, we all have Lego sets of the Capitol because if you can dream it, you can build it.
Oh, but they moved it for David Attenborough, so it's okay.
That was so sad.
He's not dead. Stop.
I know, but like, how does them changing the age range make me teary-eyed?
Because we love him. Where the fuck? Oh, there it is. Okay, let me...
Oh, I should leave now.
You don't want to stay?
David Attenborough's been old since we were.
I know,
we
that's
were in
what's going to be
elementary
the
school.
hardest part. Like, he has narrated our entire life.
It's true.
You don't want to stay? He doesn't want to stay. Let me get it, and then we'll get out of here. Did anybody find me anybody to raid or not?
Oh,
Sparky, no, you stay and you watch it.
Queen's live?
Okay, we'll probably do...
Oh, wait. No, I lied.
Oh, we're gonna have to raid a man.
Wow. I look out here lying.
You know what?
Lying on black women.
Yeah, we got what's
Increase it a little bit. Cut off.
Hello?
Okay. I'm going to post this weekend. A lot of our friendlies have seen this, but this is my funny for the day before we get out of here. My husband thought that...
Most southern that you could have seen.
It's filmed like this because
My husband.
she knows when I'm filming too, so you got to be real low key.
Right. He decided to do a trend on me, so he decided to film me secretly. Now remember, this day was last Friday. I had spent all day out in the sun with my children for field day. A bitch was tired, and I was also locked the fuck in watching Infinity War. Literally, if anybody knows, if you're a Marvel fan and you're watching Infinity War, you're locked the fuck in. I'm busy. Decided to ask me this dumb fuck question.
Besides the obvious, what would you change about yourself?
What? I've seen that face before.
He said, what? Fuck you.
Can you guys hear it? Hold on, I'll play it again. I know it's coming out of like one ear and it's low, and I apologize for that, but...
Besides the obvious, what would you change about yourself?
What?
He's not a smart man.
So then Friday night when me and Mia were live, we were just asking all these people we didn't know. Besides the obvious, what would you change about yourself?
Oh no, not my growl. That's terrible! I was imitating the cat! It's not.
That's the same equivalency as my shoe bill horn.
Shoot.
No. Well, yeah, but no.
Wow.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yep, we're gonna have to raid Matt. That's what we're gonna have to do.
Is Kenzie on?
Yeah, Kenzie doesn't know me like that though.
Oh.
So I don't want to do that. Have her be confused as fuck. So we will raid Matt. What should our tagline be?
Is Erica there? Hold on, let me see if Erica's there.
I think she's on a panel. But
Great.
No, if it's Erica, just say only for Eric. You know what? L Matt raid. That's what we should do.
I don't like that one.
Nemo funeral raid, because that's what he did last night.
That's crazy. He did.
He sure did.
That was wild.
We did bury Nemo. That was wonderful. We loved that. So I don't know if Matt has a Twitch.
Yeah, he does. Let me send it to you. No one really goes there, but you know.
That's hey.
That wasn't a negative. Yeah, Erica's there. We could do a
there's he is.
Oh
I
wait,
found him.
Puppy's there.
Huh?
Athena.
Oh, Athena is
Athena.
there. So yeah, let's do an in memoriam of Nemo Monty raid.
Nemo money raid.
So guys, go over there and support. I appreciate your guys' support. W to you guys for hitting over 100,000 likes. I don't even know what we're at. I can't see it. Oh, 120,000. 120,000. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, W for hitting out that goal. Big W's to Sparky for getting us halfway there. And W's to the rest of you for getting me across that finish line today. I appreciate it so much. I promise you, it goes into savings and to pay my bills. And I appreciate it so, so much. I will be back.
And W me for locking Nitro out of my cabinets.
And Nitro's an innocent baby.
Whatever.
Justice for Nitro. So yeah, guys, go over to Matt's and do an in memoriam raid. Twitch and YouTube, I'm gonna send you there. It's already set up, so you guys will get sent there. But I will see you guys on Monday. I know it's Memorial Day, but I will see you Monday for midterm Monday. Elections don't stop.
We might be gaming this weekend, so
And we
be
might
on
be
the
gaming
lookout
this
for that.
weekend. So if you're not following me, go to my link tree and follow my Twitch, because that is where I stream when we are gaming. So please do that. It's a fun time when we're just chilling and yapping. Not just yap, but yapping and doing whatever the fuck we're doing.
We have conversations about which, sometimes politics gets involved because,
Yeah.
we all
It's a
get
spyglass.
Oh my God, he even has a picture of his celebration of life up right now, so it's perfect timing. But I will see you guys either this weekend gaming or Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Take breaks, spend time with friends and family, drink some water, do something kind or good for yourself. And just, have a good weekend, y'all. I appreciate you. Bye!